head to the home half of inning number 1, and the Brewster Whitecaps looking to strike first. And leading things off for them will be Auburn's Ryan Blissmead. Tyler, quite a great play to end the top half of the first inning.
Yeah, no, I mean, Joey Weimer smoked that ball about as hard as you could, but mentioned the second baseman playing over a little bit. He's able to make a diving catch, did Bliss, and then throw to get him out at first. So he'll try to cause some havoc here on the other side as he will step into the box, but he'll be facing off against Nick Swalk, who has looked excellent this season, hasn't been used. This will be his first start of the year, but trying to get some extended innings out of him today, and why not? Swalk this year posting a 3.85 ERA through 4 2/3, and he's been tapped for his second start of the year. First one was, of course, rained out, so didn't get to pitch, and here he is.
Lefty from Xavier's first pitch is over to Ryan Bliss, the second baseman from Auburn. Hit .281 with Auburn. 3 homers, 37 runs batted in. 0-1 is fouled straight up, and that one will carry out of play. And Bliss tied for the team lead in stolen bases this year, and it's good enough for a top 10 spot in the entire CCBL. But he's down 0-2 in the count. Swalk working from the windup, the 0-2. Misses down and in.
Yep, 22 stolen bases as a team for the Brewster Whitecaps, and that's even with Harwich at 22. So a couple of the faster teams here in the Cape Cod League going at it here on a beautiful afternoon. Talk about perfect baseball conditions. It's about 83 degrees. The sun is out. Clouds are away, and baseball's here to stay.
1-2 is a chopper towards the left side. Keenan's going to have to charge it. A backhanded play. The throw onto first is not going to be in time with the speed of Bliss. So the Whitecaps with the leadoff man on to begin the home half of the first.
And this had nothing to do with that last play, but it's interesting to note, out there on first base for the Harwich Mariners today is Chris Lanzilli, and I believe that's the first time we've seen him play out there, as normally that would be reserved for Bobby Seymour, who's departed for Team USA, or for Nico Cavadas. But Cavadas getting an off day, and Chris Lanzilli is the backup first baseman now, so he'll get some of his first reps over there at that corner.
Gage Workman out of Arizona State stepping in, the shortstop. Decent lead off of first by Bliss. And the first pitch is swung on, hit in the air out towards right field. Ludwig coming over, has to go a long way, and he drops it. And the ball lands in fair territory, and Bliss is going to be able to get up to second, and that one will most likely be an error on the right fielder, Ludwig.
Yeah, not sure if he lost it out there in the sun or what was going on. Ludwig just couldn't squeeze that one, and it ends up skirting off of his glove. So an ideal start here for the Whitecaps, as they'll have 2 on with nobody out, and the 3-hole man and Brett Auerbach will step to the plate.
Mariners earlier in the week were actually the top-rated team in fielding percentage. All of a sudden, in the last 10 innings, they've committed 3 errors. So now 2 on, nobody out, and Brett Auerbach at the plate.
Yeah, and of course, the 2 errors yesterday coming on the same play. Unfortunately, nobody comes across to score on that play, but still playing with fire with those defensive miscues.
Showing bunt is Auerbach, and he isn't able to keep it fair. Rothenberg waiting for it to roll foul on the left-hand side, 0-1.
So Brewster willing to play a little small ball here, trying to move 2 guys up into scoring position, and that would be a dream situation to have 2 guys in on second and third and only 1 away. The ever-dangerous TJ Collette stands on deck. Already, I believe, 3 home runs for him this year.
2 of those coming against the Mariners in a game back at White House Field. Hit those from the left side. He's batting right-handed with the lefty on the mound, Zwak. Zwak ahead 0-1. Here's the pitch, and it misses low.
So for Nick Zwak, the usual fastball, slider, cutter, changeup. Typical of a starter to have 3 or more pitches, and one of the guys that throws 4 here on this team. A lot of guys relying primarily on 2 pitches and then trying to work something else out and develop it during the course of the league.
Long look over at second by Zwak. And there's a hard ground ball that's going to get through past the shortstop for a base hit. All the runners will hold as the throw coming in, a strong one from Gallen. So the bases are going to be loaded with still nobody out, and the dangerous Tyler Collette coming to the plate.
Yep, TJ Collette will stand in, and this could be bad. As we mentioned, a good power hitter. He's already established himself as a Mariner killer so far, as he hit 2 home runs earlier this year. An interesting thing of note here, TJ Collette was also in the College World Series Home Run Derby, as were 3 Harwich Mariners. So 4 of the 6 guys in the Home Run Derby this year and anybody from any college is eligible are currently playing in this game here at Stony Brook Field.
Crazy the power that some of these guys have, and Collette, one of the guys who showcased it, and now he's got a golden opportunity to give his team an early lead in the first. Swag trying to settle down, going from the windup, and his first pitch is in the dirt. A nice stop by Mike Rothenberg.
Yep, Rothenberg seeing his first action since departing for the World Series Home Run Derby. It was Pat Winkle out there behind home plate yesterday. Yep, TJ Collette trying to pad some of his numbers here and maybe get a few runs in.
He lays off a pitch that's in there for a strike to even the count. One of the hotter days we've had so far on the Cape in comparison to that doubleheader back against Hyannis a couple of weekends ago. Temperatures climbing up to 80. Swaks 1-1. Is hammered into right, a leaping catch over at second. Christian Fedko robbed what would have been a certain hit and potentially 2 runs. And now with that line out, all the runners having to stay at their respective bases, there's one away.
And he was hit so hard. I mean, we thought that was going to get down, but a good jump there by Fedko at second. And unfortunately, it was hit so hard that nobody was able to get doubled off as everybody was able to turn around and get back to their station in time. So the situation stays the same, but man, what a rip there by TJ Collette.
So Marcus Castanon will get an opportunity. He's got a homer and 9 RBIs on the season, so he knows how to drive in runs with guys in scoring position. Let's see if he can do it here. From the windup, Walk's first pitch misses low in the dirt.
Yep, his 9 RBIs tied up for the team lead with TJ Collette this year. The two of them have driven in 18 together this year, so the danger is not over yet, but the infield will get back to double play depth here and try to put this inning away with a ground ball. Imagine Walk's going to be keeping everything low in the zone here with a 1-0 count to Marcus Castanon.
Here it is. It's a cue shot coming right back towards us, and Tyler, you really flinched on that one.
Yeah, I don't know what I was expecting there, but ball hit right here as we are set up on the technically down the first base line, but I mean, we are a straight shot to home plate. This is the closest we've been to home anywhere this season, and it's worth noting that this completes our tour of the Cape Cod Baseball League. We've now been to all 10 parks.
Swag trying to work out of this jam, the 1-1. And there's a high fly ball out towards left field, not deep enough to get out. Galland will make the catch, tagging is the runner, and scoring is Ryan Bliss. So a sacrifice fly for Marcus Castanon, his 10th RBI of the season, and the Brewster Whitecaps take an early 1-0 lead.
Yep, that's really the best thing you could hope for as a Whitecaps fan, is that one was driven just deep enough. A pretty good arm for Chris Galland out there in left field, but a lot of speed on third for Ryan Bliss. So, you know, all things considered, if the Harwich Mariners can get out of the inning giving up only 1 run, this will still be a big-time victory for them after letting the bases get loaded with nobody out.
Nobody else able to tag up on the play, so it'll be Gage Workman at second, Brett Auerbach at first, and the batter is Tyler Gentry. From the stretch, the first pitch is hammered out towards right field. Heading back is Ludwig. He's not going to get there in time. It one-hops the wall. Coming in to score is Workman. Here comes Auerbach. The throw comes in, and it's a 2-run triple for Tyler Gentry. Gentry with a 2-run triple, and now it's a 3-0 lead for the Brewster Whitecaps.
Well, just on cue there, I mentioned that it would be a big victory if Harwich could get out of the inning only giving up 1, but Gentry just put a charge in that thing, drove it all the way to the wall, as you mentioned, and the blazing speed for him to get around to third, a stand-up triple. That'll drive in 2.
That is now the 4th triple of the year as a team for the Whitecaps. Now Eric Fago will get a chance, the Stetson product. First pitch is in there for a strike. Rothenberg having trouble handling it, but ball does not get by him.
Fago, one of the guys that was hitting tanks onto the Green Monster during the Fenway Day trials. So a lot of power for him as well. Got to be careful of that.
And a breaking ball misses up and away.
Another run just 90 feet away in Tyler Gentry, and this has turned into a very productive inning here for the Whitecaps.
3 runs coming home, 2 of them charged to Nick Zwak, the other unearned after a Ludwig error. And the 1-1 misses just below the knees.
Yeah, for Zwak, the number one thing that he brings to the table is the strikeout numbers, and he's been used both as a reliever and as a starter out of the University of Xavier, but definitely did his best work out of the bullpen and kind of struggled when they took him into a starting role.
The 2-1 to Fago, misses outside. Fago, not the first time he's been on the Cape, but it wasn't for the Cape League. He played last summer on Martha's Vineyard, a team that is now in the NECBL, playing its first season with the league. So very familiar with the geography of the Cape area. 3-1 the count, 2 away and a runner on third. The pitch misses inside for ball 4, so Zwak still unable to get out of the inning just yet. Now runners at the corners with 2 down and Christian Malfetta at the plate.
Yeah, that'll be the first walk of the day for him, but again, Zwak coming into this game through 2 appearances, had 4 2/3 pitched, a 3.86 ERA, 8 strikeouts to only 1 walk, and here comes Coach Jeff Neiman out to have a word with the hurler. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a tough go here for Nick Zwak, who had only given up 2 runs coming into this game. He's already given up 3, and he's only had 2 putouts.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, a quick recap of how this first inning has gone. Harwich going down in order following a pair of strikeouts and a groundout recorded by Tringali of the Brewster Whitecaps, and then it was 3 consecutive base runners to lead off the inning to load the bases for Brewster, and it was a sac fly that brought home the first run by Marcus Castanon, and then Tyler Gentry with a big 2-out triple, bringing in 2 more, and that's where we stand after Fago walks, and now it's Gentry at third, Fago at first, and Malfetta at the plate. Christian Malfetta, the catcher from Stanford. Zwak's first pitch is in there for a called strike.
Yeah, and the message from Jeff Neiman there may have been, don't be afraid to attack the strike zone. He's been getting hit so far, but looked very hesitant in that last at-bat to Eric Fago, where he walked him on only 5 pitches. So trying to settle down a little bit here, get out of the inning, but no pushover here for Christian Malfetta.
Malfetta 4 of 7 so far with the team, and he ropes that one foul just past the third base bag. He falls behind 0-2.
Yeah, Tyler Gentry kind of flinched there a little bit, worried about getting taken out by the line drive, but this is the ideal scenario for Zwak. He's ahead 0-2. Got a couple of pitches that he can waste, but strikeouts are his thing. His freshman season, he was highly touted, 68 strikeouts through 61 innings. Put up 43 strikeouts in 53 innings a year ago, and so far on the Cape, 8 strikeouts coming into this one.
The 0-2 runner going, and that ball is hit in the air out towards left field. That ball is carrying back at the track. Able to make the catch is Chris Gallen, just a couple of feet in front of the wall. And boy, did Malfetta just miss doubling the lead with a 3-run home run, but instead the side is retired, and Brewster is able to put up 3 runs in the home half of the first inning. They lead it 3-0. You're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. So Cam Tringali will head back out, looking to replicate what he did in the first inning, which was shut down the top third of the Harwich Mariners lineup in order. And now, Tyler, he has the advantage of pitching with a 3-run advantage.
Yeah, and this is not the scenario that we've seen a lot of teams get into against the Mariners. As the last couple of games, it seems like Harwich has been the ones that have jumped out to an early lead. But take a look at it from the positive side. They've lost 4 of those 5 games, so maybe this will be something new coming in for the Mariners, as they will have to fight from behind here. Although that is something they've struggled to do a bit this season, and through the first 17 games of the year, they have never come from behind in a game where they trailed by more than 1 run. But a first time for everything, still early, relatively early into the season.
So Tyler Keenan will lead things off, the cleanup hitter, back at third base from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. 10's Old Miss. And Tringali's first pitch is taken outside for ball one.
And very quietly here, Colin, I just realized we're actually 5 games away from the midseason point. This one included, so 4 games after today, and 22 games in the books, 22 games left to go.
The 1-0 is outside, actually on the outside corner for a called strike. And yeah, Tyler, it's amazing how quickly this season really flies by. Once you have just so many games back to back to back, it seems like all of a sudden there's no games left. The 1-1 from Tringali misses way outside, 2-1.
Well, if you thought the first 22 went by quickly, imagine how quickly the last 22 will go with no rainouts, hopefully. Seemed like every other day we had a rain delay, but finally able to get some games in here on the Cape as the sun's come out and the weather's just decided to cooperate.
Mariners do not have an off day until late July, so they'll be playing a lot of games in a row, and the 2-1 pitch is on the outside corner. So Cam Tringali really doing a nice job of painting that outside corner thus far.
Yep, this is the toughest part of the order to get through for the Harwich Mariners. Tyler Keenan, Christian Fedko, and the ever-dangerous newcomer in Dylan Noisy. We've already seen the speed that he can put on display.
The 2-2 misses outside, so Keenan trying to drive up Tringali's pitch count. He works the count full. Christian Fedko on deck in his first start in what seems like about a week now. Nursing a hand injury. The 3-2 misses low for ball 4, so it's a leadoff walk for Tyler Keenan, and the Mariners are in business. Start second.
Yep, not a bad way to start. Now Christian Fedko will come back up, and actually I want to make a quick correction. It was his wrist that he took a ball off of just a few games ago, it seems like, but he was unable to really grip the bat, stayed in, played through the rest of that game, and he's been kind of rehabbing it ever since. His last action coming in a big-time Harwich victory, the last time they won against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Got the win that day by a final of 6-0, and without Fedko in the lineup, they've lost their last 3.
Fedko from the University of Connecticut. He's got a runner on first with nobody out. First pitch he sees misses low.
Yeah, and he's looking to pick up where he left off. He was on an absolute tear going through the first 20 games of the season, it seemed. So looking to maintain his momentum.
Long look in from the stretch by Tringali. Keeping a close eye on Keenan. Here's the 1-0. That one is outside. And Tyler, one of the things you worry about with these wrist injuries is how it affects the hitter's swing plane. Coming back from some of these wrist injuries. I mean, you look at what happened with Aaron Judge last year, and he kind of struggled to get his footing back after taking a fastball off the wrist. But of course, Judge really bouncing back this year as he's finally been able to be fully healthy. Fastball's on the inside corner for a strike, 2-1.
Yeah, and Fedko, one of the guys hitting over 300 this season. Him and Joey Weimer he's hitting 333 this season. Hoping that that doesn't affect him too much, and that's why they give him the days off, wanting to take some extra time and rest up. So his bat very much needed and back in the lineup for the Mariners today.
2-1. And there's a fly ball out towards center field. Starting back was Auerbach, but he comes in and is able to make the catch for out number 1 as Keenan retreats to first.
Yeah, he really exaggerated that first step back, and you and I it didn't look that good off the bat, but we started to wonder whether that might have a chance to go to the fence. But nope, comes on in, and with 1 away, that'll bring Dylan Noisy up to the dish, who made his Harwich Mariners debut just a day ago and led off for the Mariners. Ended up only having 3 official at-bats. He went 0 for 3 with a strikeout, but did reach base twice. Once on an error, once on a walk. And just a ton of speed for Dylan Noisy.
That first pitch to Noisy misses outside. And Tyler, we've really been mentioning it all season long, and that is to watch how some of these players end up playing in their second game compared to their first.
Yep, debuts have been tough on the Mariners, but second games have always gone well, including a day yesterday that brought a run across for Max Marshak.
Big swing and a miss by Noisy. He was way late on the fastball from Tringali. That'll even the count.
So at the end of the day, everybody has arrived for the Mariners, at least in terms of offensive talent, and making their debuts, the College World Series guys end the season 0 for 30 with 17 strikeouts in their debuts.
Noisy, a Texas Tech Red Raider, and he lays off a pitch up and away, 2-1. Keenan takes his lead off first, about a 2.5 step lead with Fago holding him on. And Tringali from the stretch, the 2-1 is sent high in the air, foul, off to the right, back and out of play.
Yep, that one's safely away from us, so Noisy trying to avoid getting cut down. Just the one strikeout for him yesterday. Pretty good field conditions out here at Stony Brook Field.
Finally gone a lengthy stretch without any rain. Hopefully that trend is going to continue. We've had plenty of it this season. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That is strikeout number 3 for Cam Tringali. And Dylan Noisy heads back to the dugout, 2 down.
So that'll bring Mike Rothenberg up to the dish. He will stand in from the right side, the left-handed batter's box. And of course, we knew going in that Mike Rothenberg was a switch hitter. He has that ability, but during the College World Series Home Run Derby, he actually switched sides midway through his at-bat. And so a couple different times we saw him switch from left to right. He looks equally good from both sides, and he'll stand in to get the favorable matchup here.
Mike Rothenberg takes a first pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Rothenberg, as you mentioned, in the home run derby, so it's been a while since he's been back in the lineup, but looking to make an immediate impact in his first at-bat. The 0-1. And he hammers this ball out towards left center. That's going to get down for a base hit. Trying to run it down and miss, playing it out in center field's Auerbach. And they're going to send the runner home. Keenan's going to score easily as the throw in. Not much on it. And so the Mariners are on the board. It's now 3-1.
Well, and Bliss misplayed that too. So Auerbach going out to his left. That ball had a lot of zip to it, but he completely botches the scoop there. And then when he throws it in, there's no play to be made because Bliss unable to get a glove on it either. So a run comes across for the Mariners. It'll be a stand-up RBI double for Mike Rothenberg. And that'll bring Chris Lanzilli up to the dish, who was also in the home run derby and gets his bat back in the lineup for the first time today.
So Rothenberg making the impact, coming back, and now Lanzilli looking to do the same with a runner in scoring position. Good hustle by Tyler Keenan on that play also to score from first. Got a good running start on contact with 2 away. And the first pitch to Lanzilli misses inside.
Yep, some more good 2-out hitting coming out of the Mariners. And, you know, a good hit here by Chris Lanzilli. They could very well find themselves only trailing by 1 coming out of this inning.
Chris out of Wake Forest, but a Massachusetts native from Stoneham. The 1-0. That's in there for strike 1.
Yeah, and after a monster 2019 campaign, it's been a slow start to the Cape season for Chris Lanzilli. Nursing a 107 batting average coming into this one, but the break may have given him some time to get his head right. We'll see how he plays today.
1-1, a check swing, but it looked like it was strike 2 anyways, 1 and 2, and they are going to actually rule an error on the play, so it's interesting to see if that's just going to be a single and an error or what, but I believe that might take away the RBI from Rothenberg in that situation, and it will be an unearned run charged to Tringali. Very strange play out in left center. The 2-2, check swing by Lanzilli. He did not go around, and it'll be 2-2.
Yep, so not the speediest part of the order here, but able to score from all the way around. Tyler Keenan and Mike Rothenberg, not a ton of speed either, but he's done enough. Standing out there on second, a ball in the gap could certainly bring him home here.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs with a runner on second. Tringali from the stretch looks over twice over at second. Now he comes home, and a good swing by Lanzilli to foul the pitch off and stay alive.
Yep, high fastball there, and Lanzilli looking to drive that one, just got a bit under it and takes it back to the backstop. So the count stays at 2-2 here. Tringali looking to get out of the inning without giving up another run here. Harwich hungry for more.
Jacob Hurtaby's waiting in the on-deck circle. Tringali. The pitch. Breaking ball hit in the air down the right field line. Fago backing up, and he is able to make the catch. Good awareness, knowing where he was on the field to make that catch to retire the side. But the Mariners are able to get a run back They trail after 1.5, 3-1 to Brewster. You're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. Back here once again in Brewster at Stony Brook Field. 3-1, the Whitecaps and their home fans enjoying a lead early, but the Mariners able to pick up a run last inning, and Tyler was due to some kind of a strange play in which Rothenberg was able to hit a ball out towards left center, and it was just a play where Brett Auerbach had trouble fielding it, and then all of a sudden Kurt Wilson as well having trouble trying to get the ball in too.
Yeah, and the guess is that they're going to roll that as a base hit and an error, but either way, it's going to bring a run across for the Mariners. Now they have to hold the deficit right here at 2 as they will face off against 9-1-2. Brewster was one guy away from going all the way around the order back in the first inning, and Kurt Wilson now will stand in.
So the official ruling is that it was a double for Rothenberg, but the run scored due to the error, so that is going to be an unearned run not charged to Tringali. And the first pitch to the number 9 hitter, Kurt Wilson, is in there for a strike. Wilson, the only batter not to come to the plate in the home half of inning number 1. Wilson, another guy out of Texas Tech. The 0-1 to him is fouled back, and he's in a hole.
Yep, a lot of late arrivals for a lot of these teams, but most everybody is at full strength here across the Cape, including the Harwich Mariners, who got their last guy in a few days ago. It was Dylan Noisy, who made his debut yesterday. So the only player not on the team currently is Buddy Hayward as they wait for his return.
Fastball misses outside 1-2, and Harwich and Brewster, the first game to start, as every other game have yet to start, but Katuitt and Falmouth up next, and then YD and Hyannis. 1-2 is swung on and missed, strike 3. Kurt Wilson goes down on strikes, and that is strikeout number 1 for Nick Zwok in the first out of the second inning.
Yeah, Zwok really not afraid to attack the zone here, and he looks more composed than he did back in that first inning. It looks like he's settled down a little bit, so he's ready to go, but he'll have to face off against the part of the order that gave him the most trouble, starting with Ryan Bliss, who had a big single back in the first inning. Was able to come around to score.
Bliss, the righty out of Auburn, takes the first pitch just a bit high for ball 1. Bliss was the one who scored on the sacrifice fly by Marcus Castanon with 1 out. And the 1-0 is just below the knees. So we'll see how Zwok ends up going in this outing, how far he goes, considering the trouble that he ran into in the first. Let's see how much that affects his stamina. The 2-0 is in there for a called strike.
Yeah, typically out of Harwich, we see guys go deeper into ball games. We've seen guys run between 5 and 7 innings as a starter, but you know, it may turn into a short outing. He may just rebound and come back stronger too, and this may be a long outing for him. Just remains to be seen what happens here in the second inning.
Bliss able to foul the pitch off, and that'll even things up 2-2. Brewster wearing navy blue with light blue trim, and Tyler, it looks like the numbers kind of resemble those of the early 2000 Arizona Diamondbacks, the same font.
Yep, looks pretty much identical, and you see that all the time up at Chase Field.
2-2, a hard ground ball to third. Keenan backhands it. Long throw on the move is in time, and Tyler Keenan with a smooth play over at the hot corner, 2 down.
Yep, so Bliss unable to reach for a second time today, and with 2 away, it'll be up to Arizona State shortstop Gage Workman. And it's interesting, another thing of note, there are 3 different guys that play on the infield at Arizona State. All 3 of them, when they came to the Cape, were transitioned to shortstop. Gage Workman, the shortstop for the Brewster Whitecaps. Alika Williams, who actually plays shortstop, the shortstop for the Bourne Braves before transferring. And Trevor Hopper, also coming over to shortstop for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. He's typically the second baseman.
Fastball misses just low to Gage Workman. Ball 1, and another guy who was a shortstop over at Arizona State and ended up moving to second base when he made to the majors, Dustin Pedroia. 1-0 is popped up on the right side. Chris Lanzilli moving at the last second, but he's able to make the catch, and that retires the side. So after scoring 3 runs in the first, Brewster Whitecaps bats have been silenced in the second. We're through 2 from Stony Brook Field. It is Brewster 3, Harwich 1. You're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. Cam Tringali going out for his 3rd inning of work. It is 3-1 Brewster over Harwich in this Eastern Division matchup. And Tyler, one of the narratives that has been really haunting the Harwich Mariners the last 5 games is just unable to be able to win games when they're ahead, but they find themselves in a much different scenario now when they're trailing early in the game.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers don't really support that. That helps them a whole ton going forward in the game. As again, in games where they've trailed by more than 1 run, they have yet to win a game. But they haven't had the same mantra that they've had the last couple of games of racking up runs early and then falling behind late. So we'll see whether things shake out differently for the Mariners today. They've already put up 1 run, which is definitely reassuring, but they're going to need a few more. They're going to bring it back here in this one.
Jacob Hurtaby's leading things off. And he shows bunt and lays one down. It goes right to the pitcher, Tringali. He's got an easy play at first. It's 1 pitch, 1 out to begin the 3rd.
Yeah, not what he was looking to do there, and ultimately just got a little bit over in front of it. But the scouting report is in, as you saw. Castanon's over there at 3rd, playing all the way in on the infield grass before he even squared around the bunt. So they're aware of the speed, and now another guy who squared around the bunt back in the 1st inning in Chris Gallen steps to the dish.
Gallen struck out swinging to kick off the ball game. And first pitch he sees is on the inside corner for a strike.
For as well as Chris Gallen has played all season long, interestingly enough, he didn't find himself in the lineup a whole lot through the middle part of the season that's been played so far.
Gallen fooled a bit by the off-speed pitch, and now he's in a hole 0-2.
Yeah, still hitting .262 on the year with 11 hits, which is, I believe, 2nd best on the team, but sat for quite a bit during a 2-week stretch where everybody seemed to be showing up and getting their debuts.
Gallen very late on the 0-2 pitch, but he's able to foul it off into the mesh. A lot of protective netting here at Brewster. There's actually a playground just directly behind home plate, and they got some netting directly over it. So safety first for the fans here at Stony Brook Field. And Gallen fouls another pitch off right on cue over in that playground area.
Yeah, and talk about the fans, quite a few of them here. You look around and you think they might want to renovate their bleacher setup, maybe get a few more in. This is a sellout crowd here at Stony Brook Field. Only about 6 rows of bleachers all the way back to the back.
0-2 from Tringali is foul tip to the backstop, and some fans taking advantage of the hill out in center field. A little bit of elevated ground, about 30 to 40 feet past the fence, so pretty solid view from out there. Bases empty, 1 down, a 3-1 Brewster lead over the Mariners. Chris Gallen looking to keep this at-bat alive. And the pitch from Tringali glances off his shoulder, and that's going to be a hit by pitch. So Gallen fouling off a couple of pitches, then able to wear one. So a runner on base with one away for the Mariners.
Well, and how about that? I mean, the best way to fight your way back into a count, he doesn't even have to worry about getting a couple of ball calls or looking things off and fouling pitches away. He'll just take it off the shoulder. And now the speedster over there on first base for the Mariners as Mike Ludwig steps in for a second time today.
Ludwig, like Gallen, struck out swinging in that 1-2-3 first for Tringali. First pitch he sees, jams him a bit, he fouls it straight back.
Gallen becomes the 9th player of the year to be hit by a pitch, and that's only officially. So we had a game that was called due to rain conditions with YD that would have added 3 more through the first couple of innings, but those bruises don't show up in the scorebook.
Both games in those doubleheaders scheduled for July 8th and 15th, I believe. Runner going, pitches a strike and in safely as Gallen is going to take off for third. That is some heads-up base running by Chris Gallen, immediately popping up when the ball got away from the shortstop Workman, and he's able to get to third, and now the runner at third with 2 strikes, 1 down, and Gallen's got a chance to make it a 1-run ball game if Ludwig can get a ball in the air.
Yeah, that ball kind of drifted out into no man's land in between shortstop and center field, and that was the ideal scenario for him to take off. So he'll swipe another bag, and it looks like they will call that an error. So a stolen base and an error, and a runner 90 feet away now.
Tringali's 0-2. Misses just outside, and once again, that'd be an unearned run by Cam. So not really one that would affect his ERA, but I'm sure he'd love to strand that runner on base and keep the deficit at 2 going into the home half of the inning.
Well, and Ludwig's the big hitter here with a 1-2 count. If he gets out, it's all for nothing.
Looking for the backdoor breaking ball. He can't quite get it over the plate, and that'll even things at 2-2.
Not all for nothing, but it does make it a lot more difficult as everybody can go to standard depth, and one more out anywhere in the field is going to make the runner unable to come home.
2-2, an inside-out swing into shallow left. Coming in to make the catch is Kurt Wilson. The runner's going to come home. The throw gets away, and another aggressive base-running move by Chris Gallen. He scores on a shallow fly ball to left, and the deficit is now 1. Brewster only leading 3-2 now.
They don't call him Crazy Chris for nothing. I mean, he is just absolutely terrorizing Brewster on the base paths today, and you could see the second he stepped back onto that third base bag, he was going down into a little 2-point track stance. He was ready to go. He knew the second that was getting caught, he was taking off for home, and a heads-up slide at home plate to keep his body off to the right side and avoid the tag at home for the second run of the afternoon.
Yeah, the throw was a little bit offline, and Malfetta unable to handle it. So Gallen able to slide in safely, and now Joey Weimer looks at the first pitch on the outside corner for a strike.
Second time we've seen somebody come in to score on a shallow fly ball, and that's a part of what having as much speed as the Mariners have in their lineup does for you.
The 0-1 hits Weimer right on the back, the second hit by pitch of the inning. And so Weimer will take a base with 2 down, and he is really shaken up.
Yeah, he's not feeling good, and that made a pop on his back. You could hear it when that one made contact. As first base coach going to come over and have a word with him really quickly, and things starting to kind of spiral out of control here for Tringali. He's already hit 2 guys. One has come around to score, and Weimer's still walking this one off. It looks like he's stretching out that left arm a little bit. It looked like it hit him square in the back, but I mean, he's looking pretty tender over there on that left arm, so he'll take his base over there at first. Maybe won't see as much aggressive base running out of him as what we traditionally do, but that can't feel good.
And it's been really both runs scoring because of aggressive base running by the Mariners. The man at the plate here, Tyler Keenan, came around to score back in the second from first base with a 2-out double by Mike Rothenberg. He swings to the first pitch, and Weimer taking a couple hard steps towards second and prompting the catcher Malfetta to pop up out of his crouch. Oh, 0-1 to Keenan. He reached base via a walk and then came around to score on that double. Tringali from the stretch, he delivers. And that pitch will miss outside.
Quick note on Chris Gallen. He has actually been hit for a second time this season, so he leads the team in hit by pitch. something he also did at Boston College, where he was plunked 11 times back in the 2019 season. So he's got to feel like he's got a marked man, but he comes across the score.
Pickoff move to first. Weimer back in time. And Tyler, back to the play where he scored on. I think it caught pretty much everybody in the stadium by surprise when he took off for home.
Well, no less. Wilson out there in left field. I don't think he was expecting that he would have to come up and make a throw that quickly. It was a really good throw home, but again, just heads up base running in a good slide allows Gallen to come in and score.
Tringali with another pickoff move. It's close, and Weimer is picked off at first to end the inning. It was a close play, but according to the first base umpire, the throw just got there in time, and Weimer is picked off to end the third inning. But the Mariners clawing away at this one. They pick up another run, and it is now 3-2 after 2.5. You're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back once again to Stony Brook Field, and the Harwich Mariners, after falling behind 3-0, Tyler, starting to get a rhythm on offense, and they're slowly but surely chipping away, and it hasn't really had to do anything with hitting.
Yeah, I mean, they've been the benefactors of a couple of unearned runs, courtesy of a few errors. Granted, the Mike Rothenberg double could very well have gotten Keenan home regardless. But, yeah, no, they've done a good job capitalizing on the opportunities that they've gotten so far. And, you know, right now the concern would generally be Joey Weimer after taking that ball off the back, not feeling too good. But he's the DH today, so they'll give him a chance to get some rest over there up until his next at-bat and take a look at him. He should be okay if he comes back in the lineup.
Yeah, and the good thing with him being the DH is if he's unable to continue, you can pretty much plug in anybody and not have to worry about defensive changes. So 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up for the Brewster Whitecaps. Brett Auerbach leading things off. He swings and fouls the first pitch straight back. Auerbach singled and came around to score the third run, the final run of that big first inning by Brewster.
And it could have been even worse, as they did put runners at the corners with 2 away, but then a Malfetta fly out, ended the inning, and then 3 up, 3 down for Nick Zwak.
The 0-1 just misses outside. Zwak really settling down after that rough first inning, going 1-2-3 in the second against the 9-1 and 2 hitters. Mixed in a strikeout as well. The 1-1 is hit in the air out towards left field. That ball's carrying back, and it is gone into the trees. A solo home run for Brett Auerbach, and the Whitecaps add another run to their lead. They lead it 4-2.
Yeah, that was an absolute no-doubter. He crushed that ball up about 10, 15 feet up into the tree line. Got that one up above the foul pole out there in left field. And, well, the one run that Harwich was able to get back in the third, they will concede here in the home half of the third inning. And it's back to a 3-run deficit, or 2-run deficit.
So Brett Auerbach getting a hold of one, completely just yanking that ball down the line for his second home run of the season. And so now TJ Collette, who lined out sharply to second back in the first for out number 1. And he hits a ball high in the air down the left field line. It will hook foul.
Yeah, yanked that one pretty good, but I mean, you could see everybody here kind of hold their breath for a second. Thought they might have had another one initially off the bat.
Yeah, there's a pretty wide tree just past the foul pole that ball hit by Auerbach hit on the fly. No doubter for sure. And there's a cue shot right towards the Brewster dugout. Guys having to step out of the way. It's 0-2.
Well, how about that? He split the wickets of the cameraman over there. Had to take a jump and just nutmegged him to get that ball into the dugout. Good piece of precision hitting by TJ Collette.
Zwak trying to fight back. And the 0-2 is ripped on a one-hopper over to Fedko. His throw onto Lanzilli is in time for out number 1.
With Christian Fedko, I mean, his defense has been so good this year, and you and I both remember the game. I don't think we ever got a chance to really explain it, but he had 2 errors in 1 inning, and that was the game where he ended up taking the shot off the wrist on the pitch. So he told us afterwards he was, unable to really grip the bat, and that obviously was his glove hand. So part of the reason those 2 errors came in. Aside from that, he has been absolutely stellar out there at second base for the Mariners this year.
Marcus Castanon, who has yet to have an official at-bat as he takes the first pitch for a strike, but he was able to bring home a run on a sacrifice fly out to left field. Castanon from UC Santa Barbara. And it's another chopper out to Fedko. With a hop, he's able to make the play, and his throw is in time for 2 outs.
Yep, just getting it done, and here comes the guy that brought in the other 2 runs back in the first inning. It's Tyler Gentry, who hit the bases clearing stand-up triple. And the speed on Tyler Gentry is absolutely absurd. He was able to get into third without even a throw. So,
yep, Gentry hitting that ball the other way out to right center. Ludwig unable to get there in time. That one scored Workman and Auerbach. First pitch is from Zwak is in for a strike.
yeah, Zwak's looked a lot more composed here through these last couple of innings. Obviously, giving up the home run to Auerbach, but not going as deep into counts. He's really just attacking the zone and letting the hitters do the rest, as this is fouled away, and falling behind 0-2 here is Tyler Gentry.
The Harwich Mariners bullpen kind of out of view from us, so not exactly sure if anyone's warming up just yet or if Zwak's at least on his own for the time being. And the pitch as Rothenberg tries framing it, but it's just outside 1-2.
Yeah, that was awfully close. A pretty good spot there by Nick Zwak, able to keep that one low and away, but just off the plate, and he's fallen to 1-2 here on the count. Still a pitcher's favorable.
There's a chopper, this time to short. Noisy's throw is low, but a nice play by Lanzilli to dig it out to retire the side. So a leadoff home run from Brett Auerbach brings home another run for the Whitecaps. After 3, they lead 4-2 over the Harwich Mariners. You're listening to the Mariners Radio Network.
Welcome back to Stony Brook Field. Tyler Henry alongside Colin Casey as we go to the 4th inning here. And back out for another inning of work is Cam Tringali. Has looked pretty good so far, but Harwich has been able to get to him. And one of the guys that did just that back in the 2nd inning was Tyler Keenan. He was able to work his way on base and then came around to score on a Mike Rothenberg base hit. Actually called it a double. So Rothenberg standing a ways down the line, but Keenan looking to reach for the 2nd time today. And we'll see what he's got in store here as the lefty digs in to face off against Tringali for a 2nd time today. It was a 5-pitch walk to Tyler Keenan in the 2nd inning. So he'll look to reach base here again as Tringali stands at the ready. And the first pitch. That one's going to be nailed into center. Actually, it's going to fall a little bit shallow, and settling under it to make the catch is Brett Auerbach.
Yeah, it seems like both pitchers are having trouble keeping the ball over the middle of the plate. Both teams are getting great pitches to hit, and both teams have kind of taken advantage so far, but so far it's just been a couple of extra base hits making the difference and giving the Whitecaps the lead through 3.
That'll bring Christian Fedko up to the plate, 0 for 1 today, but of course trying to pick his hot streak back up after losing track of it on the other side of a small wrist injury. Tringali sets from the stretch, the first pitch, and that'll be a called strike, up and in. Tringali, of course, working out of the stretch for most of this game, has yet to go to the windup, so another one of those guys that traditionally used as a reliever coming in here as a starter. Working on developing his ability to go deeper into games. The 0-1 will miss high and inside, and the count is 1-1 here.
Yeah, sometimes when you have a guy that was traditionally a reliever and they end up making that transition to starter, they just feel more comfortable going from that stretch just because of their muscle memory, throwing thousands of pitches from that stretch position.
1-1 pitch. That one's going to be taken back up the middle. Christian Fetko has himself a single. He'll round first, and the throw in from Auerbach. So a runner on here with one away for Dylan Noisy, who today is 0 for 1 with a strikeout, looking for his first hit of the evening.
Yeah, despite the Mariners having 2 runs, it's just been 2 hits, the other one belonging to Mike Rothenberg. So with a 1-out single and a pretty fast base runner in Fedko at over at first, we'll see if maybe the steal is on with 1 down.
Rothenberg is standing on deck right now, but first Dylan Noisy will get his hacks, the right-handed hitter standing in from the left side. So again, here in his second game of the season, and guys have typically fared pretty good during those games this year. Pickoff move over to first, not in time. So as we mentioned in the book, we'll close on this, but the 8 guys that came in here late, actually the 9 guys, collectively went 0 for 30 with 17 strikeouts in their debuts. In second games, 5 runs on 10 hits, 8 RBIs, and 3 home runs. So Dylan Noisy due for a big game today, as he'll watch a curveball miss inside, and that'll start the count off at 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a learning curve when you come to the Cape after playing in the NCAA levels, but that statistic's really just remarkable when you think about it, especially with the high number of strikeout rates. I mean, these guys have just been kind of fooled, and I'm sure that's a trend across the league with these guys that come in late.
Also trying to adjust to having a wood bat as another pickoff move to first is unsuccessful. Christian Fetko able to get back in time, but you know, some guys say that it takes a while for them to adjust. Others say it doesn't take long at all. It just kind of depends on how comfortable the guy is when he gets the wood in the hand as opposed to the aluminum. Tringali sets. He'll deliver the 1-1, and that is fouled back to the screen by Dylan Noisy.
And I mean, some guys really have not wasted any time after that first game figuring it out. Daniel Cabrera certainly won. Tyler Keenan as well, his second game, picking up 3 RBIs. Cabrera, I think, had 4 RBIs in his second game. So sometimes it's just, you know, one bad game on a new team. You got a lot of jitters. That gets in the way. But some of these guys rebounded quite nicely after a rough start.
Another throw over to first. Once again, not in time as Fetko not taking an overwhelmingly big lead, but we have seen Christian Fetko's speed on full display over at first base a time or two this year. Fetko on the season doesn't have a stolen base yet, as this one's zipped in there for strike 2, and the count is 1-2 here.
And that's kind of surprising. I mean, a guy like Fedko, he does have some solid speed. We've seen him show it off in the field, but just hasn't been really in any position to take off. And he hasn't been caught either, so it's not like they've been eager to send him.
We'll see if they keep that trend or whether they go to something new here with a 1-2 count on Dylan Noisy. Once again, throw over to first. Once again, not in time, and this extending the game here. Of course, Stony Brook Field here in Brewster, one of the only ones not to feature lighting. So that's part of the reason why the start time is earlier on all home games here for the Whitecaps. Another throw over to first. Also not in time. Fetko starting to have more dirt than jersey on the front of his uniform.
Yep, Stony Brook Field, the home field for the Whitecaps since the 2007 season.
Tringali will finally deal the 1-2, and that's going to be slapped into right field. It'll get down right in front of Gentry, who picks it up, and it's going to be back-to-back singles here in the 4th inning with 1 away, and that'll bring up Mike Rothenberg, who's already got 1 run driven in today. No official RBI, but his double brought Tyler Keenan into the score.
And you know, Tyler, that swing right there by Noisy, it was very reminiscent of a kind of a Joey Weimer swing where he just throws the bat head viciously through the zone and is able to take the ball the other way. We've seen Weimer do that before. He actually did it back in the 1st inning on a sharply hit ball right at the second baseman. So we'll see if Noisy can follow the trends of the Cabreras and the Keenans and really find out how to hit in this league.
Rothenberg stands in. Once again, the switch hitter hitting from the right side. He'll foul this one off hard back to the Harwich dugout. And a lot of speed on second, even more speed on first, as we've already seen what Dylan Noisy can do out there on the base paths this year. So Rothenberg looking to bring another run home. So far, both runs that have scored for the Mariners today have been unearned, but they only trail it by 2 here. Cam Tringali looking to get through another inning. He'll come set from the stretch, checks Fedko back to second and brings home the 0-1. That's going to be chopped high in the air. That one's going to be picked up at second. They'll flip to first and get one, but everybody moves up a station here. So Chris Lanzilli will come to the dish with 2 out and 2 on, as Dylan Noisy moves up to second and Christian Fedko is able to move over to third.
Yep, that's actually a pretty productive out from Rothenberg because it moves up both runners, and now all of a sudden, tying runs on second with 2 down. So running on contact, if Lanzilli is able to get a base hit, the speed of Noisy should be able to at least make it a close play at the plate and potentially tie the game for the Mariners.
And you want to talk about a guy that's due for a big hit, Chris Lanzilli, standing in from Stoneham, Massachusetts. Big opportunity coming up here. So the first pitch he sees is going to be hit high in the air. This is going to be easy as that one chases off the mound. The pitcher, he drops it, and that's going to bring 2 runs in to score. So obviously with 2 away, everybody is just taking off. Noisy will score from second. Fedko will score from third. And what the heck was that, as that ball was hit high in the air? Settling under it was the pitcher, who had to come about 4 steps off of the pitcher's mound, and Tringali just couldn't squeeze it.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't blame Tringali for that one, because it's such a tough play to catch that ball as a pitcher coming off the mound. I think one of those corner infielders should have called him off, come in and made the catch. They would have had a much better route to that ball.
This game is tied at 4, and all 4 of the Mariners' runs have been unearned, as this one's going to be dropped down, a bunt, courtesy of Hurtubise, but the throw to first is in time, and that will end the inning. The Mariners get a gift-wrapped pair of runs for Christmas, an early gift here in July. As we head to the break, Brewster will be back up to bat in their half of the 4th. After this, you're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network.
Back here once again in a tie ball game after 3.5 from Stony Brook Field, and this edition of Harwich Mariners Baseball is sponsored by Curry College. Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams, sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonels and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
Live by the unearned run, die by the unearned run. That seems to be the theory here for the Harwich Mariners, as in their last 2 games, 4 of the 5 runs they gave up, both losses came via unearned runs. And then today, they've scored 4 runs, all of them unearned, and now they'll try to maintain an even game here, as it'll be Nick Swalk coming out for another inning of work. He will face off against 7-8-9 for the Brewster Whitecaps. Eric Fago, Christian Malfetta, and Kurt Wilson. And Fago will take a big hack at that one. He reached on a walk back in the first inning. He was the last runner put on before Malfetta, who stands in the on-deck circle, would fly out to end the inning. A lot of power for Eric Fago. Big right-handed hitter, the 0-1 pitch, breaking ball that'll just miss, and the count is even at 1-1.
And to your point about power for not just Fago, but throughout this entire lineup, that's now 16 home runs on the season for Brewster, and they're only a couple back of Katuitt for the lead in the Cape Cod League.
This one's a broken bat line drive that goes right to Nick Swalk. And how about that? That one a little shoestring catch as he just kind of bent down, didn't even leave the pitcher's mound, and makes the catch for out number 1.
And that's just tremendous concentration by Zwak when you see a broken bat. Your first instinct is to look and see where that bat's going, make sure you get out of the way. But Zwak really didn't have time to locate the bat because the ball was coming right at him. Nice instinct play to glove it, and it's one quick out to begin the home half of the 4th.
So that's got to feel good for Nick Zwak, who gets back out there here for a 5th inning of work. We wondered how long his outing would go. Actually, a 4th inning for him, but he's still working, and he's looked a lot better since the 1st inning. He's only given up the 1 hit. Unfortunately, it was a home run. As this pitch is a strike in there to Christian Malfetta. An absolute tank to Brett Auerbach over the left field fence. So it's no 1 count here. Nick Zwak looking to continue his good streak. Pitch is going to be in there, called strike at the knees. Again, working with a fastball that comes in between 92 to 94, a slider, a cutter, and a changeup. So a 4-pitch guy, utilizing all of those today. Malfetta digs back in. He's fallen behind here 0-2, has to shorten up on the swing a little bit. A big open stance for the right-handed hitter, and he'll watch a fastball miss up for ball 1.
And you mentioned Zwak having 4 pitches. The great thing about this league is you can really be effective with as little as 2 pitches or even have 5 pitches. It really doesn't matter. If you're able to throw multiple solid pitches, doesn't matter if it's 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever.
1-2 pitch will miss inside, and Harwich has a few of those guys. Of course, one that comes to mind is, I believe, Blake Espinal. Only throws fastballs.
Joe Boyle, I know, just the fastball and the changeup, so not even any sort of breaking ball. It's just straight stuff, but it's been effective for Boyle thus far.
Well, I mean, for Boyle, you also got to think the difference between a 98-mile-an-hour fastball and a low 80s, high 70s changeup is absolutely brutal, as this pitch will just miss inside to fill the count here. So very quietly, Christian Malfetta has worked his way back into the count. It's loaded up here as Nick Zwak looks for the 2nd out of the inning. Zwak, another guy that likes to work exclusively out of the stretch, or actually out of the windup here, and the 3-2 is going to miss low, so that'll be his 2nd walk of the day. And with 1 out, the Brewster Whitecaps have a runner on base with.
Next up, the left fielder from Texas.
So that'll bring Kurt Wilson up to the dish. You mentioned earlier today, Colin. Kurt Wilson, of course, a Texas Tech teammate of Dylan Noisy and also of Max Marshak.
It's been quite the year for the Red Raiders as a whole. I mean, you talk about what they did as a basketball program as well, going all the way to the championship game.
Here comes the first pitch to him. That'll miss in the dirt. It's going to get by the outstretched arm of Rothenberg and roll to the fence. So moving up a base is Christian Malfetta on the pass ball. And then, of course, the baseball team for Texas Tech made a pretty deep run, making it all the way to the semifinal before being eliminated late in that tournament.
In addition, within the last calendar year, a former Red Raider winning NFL MVP in Patrick Mahomes.
Yep, it's been a good time to be a Red Raider of Texas Tech. So here it's a runner in scoring position. Out there on second base is Christian Malfetta as Kurt Wilson digs in with a 1-0 count. Espinal will kick and fire, and that's going to be just in there for a strike low and inside to even the count at 1-1. If you're wondering about the other Red Raider that was originally scheduled to come to the Harwich Mariners in Bryce Bonnin, he will not be bringing his services to the Cape League due to an innings limit. So everybody is here. As we mentioned, the roster filled up here for the Mariners. 1-1 pitch. That one's going to be taken into deep left field. Chasing it back is Galland at the wall, and it's going to be off the fence. Galland will pick it up and throw it in. 1 run will score, and it's going to be a stand-up RBI double for Kurt Wilson. And I'll tell you what, the way Chris Galland jumped up out there in left field, I thought that one might have been gone, but it's going to drop just on the good side of the fence and keep it in the yard. So a run comes across, and it's a 5-4 lead here for the Brewster Whitecaps.
And you know, I think if Galland was a little bit more aware of how close the fence was, he would have been able to track that ball a little bit better. I know he was definitely worrying about where he needed to jump in case he had to rob that ball, but the ball landing a couple feet short of the fence, it ends up banging off of it. And how about the depth in this Brewster Whitecaps lineup? That's an RBI double from your 9-hitter.
Yep, and of course earlier today, a 2 RBI triple from the 6-hole hitter. So top to bottom, this is a tough lineup as This will bring for a third time. Ryan Bliss up to the dish. He is 1 for 2 today. A base hit and a run scored back in the first, a ground out in the second. And yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Gallant kind of jumped up like he thought he was at the fence and had to make kind of a crazy play. But if he had taken a few steps back, that ball was going to stay in the yard. He may have been able to glove it for another out. Here comes the pitch. That one's going to be in there. Called strike on the inner half, and the count is even at 1-1 here to Ryan Bliss.
And of course, in Gallant's defense, that is not really an easy play to make because it seemed like that ball had enough distance to get out of the ballpark for Wilson. Ball really just jumped off the bat, and it was a good effort by Gallant, but unable to come up with it.
Certainly not saying that it was easy, just could have kept that one in the park. Another ball hit right at the first baseman. Picking it up and stepping on first is Chris Lanzilli, and that will move the runner up here with 2 away as Kurt Wilson steps up to third base for Gage Workman.
And something we've seen in the last couple of Harwich games from both teams is just the fundamental side of baseball. You look at how the Chatham Anglers won yesterday. It was on a ground ball up the middle with the infield in. It was able to bring home a run, just a good piece of hitting. And now we're seeing a lot of productive outs by both teams, grounding balls to the right side of the infield to move runners over.
First pitch to Workman. He's trying to add a few more runs there with a giant swing and a fastball up, but he'll whiff right through it, and the count is 0-1 here.
And it's something that you really need to carry when you're trying to make that jump, not just in your college game, but when you make it to professional baseball. It's important when you got to think of the team first and make the right plays, as there's a big swing and a miss by Workman for strike 2.
Yep, he's chased a couple of high fastballs. That seems to be the pitch that Nick Zwak likes to go with here. Got to be careful with that, though, as we've already seen Workman's power on full display this season. But for the time being, he's behind 0-2. Zwak looking to put him away and end the inning, and here comes the pitch. That one's going to be taken up the middle. It'll go right at short, picked up, throw to first in time for out number 3. Pretty good play by Dylan Noisy over there to end the inning. So it'll be a 1-run inning here for the Brewster Whitecaps as they retake the lead. When we come back, the Mariners will try to even it up. After this, you're listening to Harwich Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network.
5-4 the lead so far for the Brewster Whitecaps over the Harwich Mariners after 4 innings played. And once again, this game is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod Healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and in Harwich. Open after hours and weekends, staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgent care.
So the Whitecaps are able to take the lead right back from the Mariners after Harwich ties it up in the 4th with a big-time lucky play. It'll be Chris Gallant to lead things off here in the 5th. He came around to score back in the 3rd inning, and the first pitch he sees will miss inside. For Gallant, he was hit by a pitch. He stole second, and the throw down got into center field. He was able to turn around and swipe third on a heads-up play, and then came in on a shallow sacrifice fly. Here he will hit a high chopper. That one's going to be right at third. It's gloved by Castanon, who throws across in time for out number 1.
And we talked about all the runs being unearned so far for the Mariners, but it sounds like they're not doing a good job of making solid contact and just simply putting the ball in play and making the defense work to get outs. And they've done a good job of challenging those fielders and forcing them into mistakes. 3 of them so far, and that's a big reason why they're still in this ball game.
So that'll bring Mike Ludwig up to the dish, who would have had a hit, or did have a hit out there to left field. It was the sac fly that scored Chris Gallant. Still foul this one back, and the count is 0-1 here, but it's another inning for Cam Tringali here. Tringali letting his arm dangle as he looks in for the sign, then comes set and comes home from the stretch. This one misses low and away, and the count is even at 1-1.
And I'm sure Mike Ludwig's happy to get that RBI monkey off his back, that being his first RBI of the season. A good piece of hitting, just knowing the runner on third and trying to get the ball out to left field.
Well, actually, the Chris Galland reach, I believe they ruled an error. That's one of the 3 Brewster Whitecaps errors of the day, so the run is unearned, but does he still get credit for the RBI?
Yes, because he drove the run in.
Gotcha. So it is the RBI for Ludwig. Now he can focus on getting a hit here today, as he swings through that one to even the count at 2-2.
But yeah, as you mentioned, you are correct. The run is still not charged to Tringali, who has gone now 4 innings without giving up an earned run, but he's given up 4 runs in total, not getting too much help out in the field.
But getting plenty of help from the guys in the field when they're up to bat. So they've given him 5 runs of support, and he's still pitching out there with a lead. 2-2 pitch, fouled away. Mike Ludwig will live to fight another pitch here. It's been a very eventful season for Ludwig. We talked about the fact that he didn't have an RBI, but he had done pretty much everything else that you could have wanted out of the guy. He had a pretty big summer himself, hitting over 300 in 2019. And he stands in now. A 2-2 count, infield playing at standard depth. Here comes the pitch. And that is going to miss way up and out. Not sure what the idea was there for Cam Tringali, but that one clearly slipped, and count is full here.
And you know, I'm sure the heat is playing a bit of a role in the stamina of some of these pitchers. I mean, I'm sure they're getting tired a little bit more quickly than they usually have been this season with the cool temperatures we've had, but it's pretty hot out there, and I'm sure that's fatiguing some of these arms.
Payoff pitch, and that one's going to miss for ball 4, so Mike Ludwig is aboard here with 1 away. And that'll bring Joey Weimer up to the dish, who it's good to see him back out there and clearly looking like he feels good. Took a hard shot on a fastball inside and looks kind of ginger heading down to third or to first base, but he is back. Actually ended the inning there as he was picked off back in the third. Aside from that, 0 for 1 today. Grounded out, well, technically grounded out. He smashed a ball to shortstop. It was an excellent diving play as the first pitch will miss low, but it was a good diving play by Ryan Bliss, who was able to throw him out at first. So a couple of good ABs here for Joey Weimer, and he looks for his first hit of the day. The big righty stands in. It'll be righty on righty here as Tringali throws over to first base, just trying to keep Mike Ludwig close.
Yeah, in 6 plate appearances, Mariners 3, 4, and 5 hitters currently at 1 for 4, but 2 runs scored as a walk, a hit by pitch, and a single to go along with those 3 outs.
1-0 pitch is a fastball that'll be called a strike at the knees. Weimer will step back here with a 1-1 count. He has turned into one of the hottest hitters on the entire Cape Cod Baseball League. Coming in on a temp contract off of Cincinnati, and one more cut to make, and he's on the final roster as the throw over to first is not in time, and even if it was, it bounces out of the glove of Eric Fago.
One thing to note with all these unearned runs and unearned base runners, I should say, Harwich comes into the league, or comes into the day dead last in the league in on-base percentage at 288, so this game definitely going to boost and hopefully propel them past Bourne for that 9th spot.
Here comes the 1-1 pitch. That one's going to be chopped high in the air by Weimer right at third, picked up, throw to second in time, throw to first, not even close. So they'll eliminate the lead runner there, but Joey Weimer's able to reach on a fielder's choice, and that'll bring Tyler Keenan back up to the dish. He was 0 for 1 today with a walk, a run scored, and a fly out back in the 4th.
Yep, cast it on immediately, looking towards second to try to turn 2, but as you mentioned, with Weimer's speed, that's virtually impossible on a ball hit that high on the chopper, so this will give Keenan an opportunity, but we'll see if he's going to be facing Tringali as we got a mound visit.
Yep, we'll see whether or not this is the end to Tringali's night, as heading out there is Coach Jamie Schuchik, and could very well be the end, although he's pitched pretty well. Again, the runs he's given up haven't necessarily been his fault. He walked Tyler Keenan, but he came around to score courtesy of a throwing error out in left, and then of course he hit Chris Galland, but Galland was able to advance on a throwing error to third and then came in to score. And then Christian Fedko and Dylan Noisy both get on, but he drops the ball and ends up coming out there. So that'll be the end of his outing. He will come off the hill, and we'll have an update on the new pitcher into the game, as it'll be a call to the bullpen here for the Brewster Whitecaps. They lead at 5-4 when we come back. You're listening to Harwich Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. New pitcher coming into the game here for the Brewster Whitecaps. It'll be Seth Lonsway out of the University of Ohio State. And take a look at his body of work so far this year. 1 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts, and had 4 double-digit strikeout games this spring. Struck out 14 guys against Purdue back in 2017. So he is one of the more formidable guys here in the league, and coming in and getting some experience here.
Yeah, and he's not invincible because he has had some control problems in that inning and 2/3. He walked 2 guys, but he did strike him out, so it's kind of hit or miss with Lonsway, and that will not quite close the book just yet on Tringali. He won't be eligible for the win because he didn't go the minimum 5 innings to become eligible as a starter. 4 2/3, 3 hits, so far 4 runs, none of them earned, but he is responsible for the runner on first base and Joey Weimer with 2 down.
So Joey Weimer stands on first, and that'll bring Tyler Keenan up to the dish, who I mentioned before is 0 for 1 today, but he did reach on a walk and came around to score back in the 2nd inning. So Lonsway's first pitch is a fastball that will miss down in the dirt. Start the count off here at 1-0. Christian Fedko stands on deck. Dylan Noisy in the hole if it comes to that, but the Mariners have just 1 out left to use up here in the inning. They trail it by 1, 5-4 Whitecaps here at Stony Brook Field, and a throw over to first will keep Joey Weimer close. Already a pickoff victim once today.
Yeah. Pitching for Brewster, very paranoid of Harwich Mariners on the base paths.
Most guys in this lineup have a crazy amount of speed, and we've already seen that on full display. As stepping off the rubber here is Lonsway. He'll check things over again. So Lonsway ready to deal the 1-0 pitch. That's going to be a fastball just in there for strike 1 on Tyler Keenan. We'll step out and think things over.
YD Red Sox off to a good start. In the top of the 2nd, they lead at 3-0 over Hyannis.
Yep, 4 other games going on right now. Get you an update on that here after this pitch as Keenan stands in once again. This will be a lefty on lefty, 1-1 pitch. Big sweeping hook that's in there for strike 2. So, of course, Katuitt and Falmouth doing battle. You mentioned Whitey getting out to an early lead on Hyannis. Also a game going on between Bourne and Wareham. And later tonight, it'll be the nightcap as Orleans visits Chatham. That should be a fun one. 2 of the hottest teams in the East fighting it out for first place. Throw over to first. More of a gentle throw, just trying to keep Weimer in check.
Yeah, I think Orleans is really hitting their strides at this point in the season. They were kind of hit or miss at the very start, and it seems like they're really making the case to be one of the favorites to win the whole league this year.
1-2 pitch will miss low and inside, so the count is 2-2, and you get the feeling this might be one of those years opposite of what we had last season, where the East could probably have 5 playoff teams, but one of them has to get trimmed down, and the West probably only deserves to get 2 or 3 in. Of course, the Brewster Whitecaps had a record well under 500. They made the playoffs last year in the East and actually went on to eliminate YD, who had the best record in the Eastern Conference, in a sweep, as the 2-2 will miss low. So the count is full here on Tyler Keenan.
Yeah, right now the Harwich Mariners feel like most 9 seeds in the Western Conference in the NBA feel like almost every year. But still plenty of time left in the season to kind of right the ship.
Yep, a little over half of the games left still to play, as it'll be a full count here to Tyler Keenan. Here comes the pitch, and that will miss down in the dirt. So it'll be a 6-pitch walk here. Tyler Keenan finds his way on first. That'll bring Joey Weimer up into scoring position. And with 2 away, Christian Fedko, who's 1 for 2 today with a single, will come up to the dish.
And this is what I mentioned. I mean, Longsway does struggle with control. That's now his 3rd walk in less than 2 innings pitched. So he's got himself in a bit of a bind here, and a very solid hitter in Fedko at the plate, who already has a hit and a run scored.
Fedko is one of 2 runners that came in to score. Him and Dylan Noisy on the critical error by today's starter, Cam Tringali. The ball hit about a mile high. Tringali settled under it, but was unable to make the catch, and it fell right in front of the pitcher's mound. So this fastball's in there for strike 1, right around the belt. So it's no 1 count here on Christian Fedko. Grabbed this bat like he was thinking about squaring around the bunt for a second, and then pulls it back. Corner infielders coming in a little bit. They clearly saw that, but he will watch this one in there for strike 2, a fastball that cuts around the bottom.
Fedko with his brother playing for Bourne this season, so very busy year for the Fedko family here on the Cape.
Absolutely. So dad, John Fedko, has been bouncing around from stadium to stadium trying to watch his guys, and you can actually catch him on an upcoming broadcast. We'll have him in and talk to him about having both of his kids out here on the Cape.
Not only that, he's actually a Pittsburgh sports broadcasting legend.
Yep. I was going to say, he can talk about his career and everything else he's accomplished. Here it's no 2 count on Christian Fedko. The pitch, and that one's going to be hit a mile high. Coming in from left field is Wilson. He will settle under it. Actually, it's going to be the shortstop, and Gage Workman, who comes over, and he'll make the catch for out number 3. The Mariners able to get a few on. Can't bring anybody around. We head to the home half of the 5th. Mariners trail it 4-3. You're listening to Harwich Baseball here on the Mariners Radio Network. Back to baseball here and a pitching change as we head to the home half of the 5th inning. It'll be Tommy Vale coming into the game here for Harwich, a guy that was used kind of out of the back end of the bullpen to start the season, but with a lot of situations where the Mariners have been trailing going into later innings, it seems like they've not had a need for him in that role. So he comes in here and will try to hold a 1-run deficit against the Brewster Whitecaps, Colin.
Yeah, I'm sure this also wasn't the start that Nick Swak was looking for, just going 4 innings, giving up five runs, 4 of them earned on 5 hits, 2 walks and a strikeout. So he is in line for the loss, but again, the Mariners continue to try to chip away at this lead. They're only 1 back right now. If they're able to tie it up, that would get Swak off the hook. But right now it's up to Vale to kind of keep things at bay, get his offense back out on the field.
Tommy Vale looked unhittable through his first 2 outings, but then finally somebody was able to get to him in his 3rd. Through 3 appearances, he's pitched 4 innings, a 2.25 ERA, has 1 save to his credit this year, and 6 strikeouts to only 1 walk, has given up just the 4 hits and 1 run. He will be faced with the middle part of the order. It'll be Brett Auerbach leading things off, and Auerbach today is 2 for 2, 2 runs scored, a single and a monster home run. That one coming back in the 5th inning, or the 3rd inning. We got there eventually. First pitch he sees looked like he was going for another home run, but he'll cut right underneath that. And the count is 0-1 here.
Yep, the one run given up by Vale against YD back on June 26th.
So with an 0-1 count, Vale comes set. He'll deliver an off-speed pitch that'll be in there for strike two, getting ahead very quickly here. And only two pitches for Tommy Vale, fastball and a cutter. Utilizing those to perfection so far this season. The Notre Dame teammate, of course, of Joe Boyle. It's the 0-2 pitch. There's a fastball in there for strike three. Tommy Vale is off to an excellent start here with a 3-pitch strikeout of Brett Auerbach.
Talk about a huge out. A guy coming in that was 2 for 2 with a single, a home run, 2 runs scored, and an RBI. Auerbach was on fire, but that fire put out by Vale, and now he's got another challenge in front of him as TJ Collette stands in, who's hit 2 balls very hard, but 0 for 2 right now to show for it.
And Colin, maybe the most surprising thing about that strikeout is it's only the second of the day for the Harwich Mariners, the team that leads the league in pitching strikeouts, as this is fouled back to the screen by TJ Collette. Collette today is 0 for 2, but I mean, they've been striking out guys left and right, even in their big losses against Orleans. It seemed like they were striking out every other hitter. But only 2 today. Tommy Vale maybe looking to come in and pump those numbers up a little bit here for the Mariners. His cutter's going to be taken to shortstop, picked up by Noisy, who will throw across in time for out number 2.
You know, Tyler, one thing I've noticed all year is how well defensively shortstops have played for the Harwich Mariners. No matter who's over there, it seems like everyone's just kind of smooth making those plays. It was Hal Hughes for a while, and now Noisy getting an opportunity. And he's looked right at home. He's gotten about 3 or 4 balls hit to him, and he's made the play every single time.
Yep, Hal Hughes, along with Dylan Noisy, as you mentioned. Cam Thompson getting some time over there as well. And earlier in the season, it was a mix of a couple of guys, including Danny Harris IV, as this pitch is going to miss low. And kind of mixing it up a little bit, but they've kind of settled on their everyday starter at shortstop being Hal Hughes. Of course, he was needing a day off, and he gets it today. So Dylan Noisy coming in to replace him. 1-0 pitch, check swing, and missing there is Marcus Castanon, but he doesn't offer at it, and the count is now 2-0 here. Vale back out of the windup. Here comes the pitch. That one will miss up and in. So he has fallen behind way back here to Marcos Castanon. It's a 3-0 count.
A couple of guys for the Mariners getting days off, including Nico Cavadas. He's played a ton of games recently, especially with not a lot of guys in the lineup as the pitch is outside for ball 4, so it's going to be a 1-out walk, or a 2-out walk, I should say.
It was a perfect start there for Tommy Vale, but a 4-pitch walk there to Marcos Castanon. So that'll bring Tyler Gentry up to the dish. He is 1 for 2 today. Had a 2 RBI bases clearing stand-up triple back in the first inning, and then grounded out to short back in the third. He's getting his hacks here. First pitch he sees, he'll swing on and miss for strike 1. Vale ready with the 0-1 pitch. Runner on first, 2 away. He'll check the runner back to the bag over there at first. Katuitt with a big-time solo shot has taken a 1-0 lead on the Commodores of Falmouth. That's a Katuitt team that has finally jumped into first place in the West right now, as they were able to leapfrog over Wareham. The 0-1 pitch. There's a big sweeping off-speed pitch coming in from Tommy Vale. Not sure what that was. We haven't seen that all season long, and maybe developing something else off speed here.
Yeah, that thing had a ton of drop to it. It almost looked like a 12-6 curve coming in. Interesting delivery from Vale. Now he's a strike away from getting out of the inning.
The 0-2 pitch. That one's going to be swung on and hit to right field, chasing it all the way back to the track, to the wall. It's gone. Nothing they can do about that as Mike Ludwig ran out of real estate, and by the skin of their teeth, the Brewster Whitecaps have come up with another home run today. They now lead it by 7-4.
Yep, Tyler Gentry once again striking. He's got 4 RBIs in the game, a triple and a home run. So Gentry, with 4 of the 7 runs driven in, he's literally been the difference in this game for the Whitecaps.
So that will bring Eric Fago up to the dish, and that one not as sure, as he had to go opposite field there. Kind of popped it off of his bat, but The swing looked good, the exit velocity looked even better, and that one just barely tucks its way over the right field fence for a 2-run home run.
You know, the Mariners might want to consider having to shift towards the right against Gentry, as both of those extra base hits going to the opposite field, and that one just great extension on a ball on the outside part of the plate, and he just powered it over the right field fence.
Plenty of power coming up here with Eric Fago as well, but he hasn't fared as well, as he's had a broken bat line drive back to the pitcher and reached on a walk back in the first. So it's a 1-1 count here on Fago as Vale gets back to work. Here comes the pitch. Breaking ball, and that one is swung on and missed once again. So, yeah, featuring something new and off speed is Tommy Vale. Again, typically with just the fastball and the cutter, at least that's what on our scouting report that we got from Coach beginning of the year. But a lot of guys develop new pitches in the Cape League, and that's what Vale's doing as he comes to it again, and that's going to be called strike 3. Down on strikes goes Eric Fago, and the inning is over, but not before Tyler Gentry adds a couple of runs with a 2-run bomb of his own. The Harwich Mariners trail at 4-7. When we come back, they'll be up in the 6th inning. After this, you're listening to Harwich Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. So we go to the 6th inning, and Tyler Gentry came into this game with just 6 RBIs. He's got 4 today, so that'll put him up to 10 and give him the team lead as he surpasses TJ Collette. It's been a heck of a day for him, and that's a part of the reason why the Mariners trail this game. They're down 7-4. Heading back out there for another inning of work, it will be Seth Lonsway.
Yeah, and what really hurts about that home run last inning from Gentry for the Mariners is they were 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. Vale looked really good after coming in from the bullpen, and then it was just one mistake pitch, and Gentry's a guy who will make you pay when you make mistakes to him, and sent a ball over the right field fence, and now the deficit back up to 3 as it was after the first inning.
Yep, he left the fastball up, so that'll bring Christian Malfetta. Or actually, Christian Malfetta will be up on the other side of the inning. It'll be Dylan Noisy coming to the plate here for the Mariners to lead off the 6th. Noisy is 1 for 2 today with a run scored and a strikeout. Had a base hit back in the 4th inning. And to watch that one in there for a called strike. So the count is 0-1 here. And with that run scored and the hit, that increases second games to 6 runs, 11 hits, 8 RBIs, and 3 home runs for Harwich Mariners. He will take this one deep to left center field, but that's going to be at the wall, and they're making the catch in straightaway center field is Brett Auerbach for out number 1.
Boy, Tyler, the ball is really flying around in the ballpark. It seems like almost every other batter is hitting a ball at least to the deepest parts of the ballpark, just missing home runs or even sending it over the fence, as 2 Whitecaps have done so far. But let's see if Mike Rothenberg can break through for the Mariners and deliver the first earned run of the game given up by Brewster.
Helped deliver an unearned run. He'll swing and foul that one back to the backstop, but helped an unearned run come home back in the 2nd inning with an RBI double. Stepping in here for the 3rd time today, he has a ground out as well. First time that he will face off against Seth Lonsway. As this pitch bounces in the dirt. Lonsway's had trouble locating that pitch low. It seems like his off-speed continuously hitting on or right in front of home plate.
Yeah, he walked the first batter he faced, which was Tyler Keenan last inning.
Swing and a miss there, and actually pulled back. So it's a 2-1 count here. Rothenberg back to work. Here comes the 2-1 from Lonsway. Thought about swinging at that, but will hold off, and they say it finds the zone, so the count is 2-2 here. Here is the pitch. That will miss high, so it's a full count here on Mike Rothenberg, who's worked his way back into count here.
Yeah, one of the things I've noticed from Rothenberg lately is he's been showing a lot more patience at the dish.
Lonsway ready with the payoff, and here it comes. Ball 4, so a good job by Mike Rothenberg. You talked about the patience, Colin, right on cue. He will be on base here with a one-out walk, and that'll bring Chris Lanzilli up.
Well, when you're able to work deep counts like that, you're more likely to encounter a pitch that you can drive, and in that at-bat, it was just Longsway having trouble finding the strike zone, so Rothenberg happily going down to first base, and that's the second time he's reached base in this one, and now the Mariners with a base runner and one down.
So Lanzilli will come up now, one away as you mentioned, and he'll get his first at-bat against Lonsway. First pitch comes home, swing and a miss for strike one. Talk about the difficulties of being a Cape Cod baseball player. A guy named Jacob Winger out of High Point University. He was on the YD Red Sox's opening day roster, was released on June 15th. Then 3 days later, he went to the Bourne roster, was released on the 30th, and, well, he's back at YD today. As this pitch is going to come in and hit Chris Lanzilli. That is the third hit batter of the game. And the Mariners will take the free runner, but goodness, that's the second time we've seen that so far this year, Colin.
Yep, 2 words, Tyler, control issues. I highlighted that right when Longsway came into the game. It's something that he really has to kind of rein in, and all of a sudden, now the tying runs at the plate with one down, and Jacob Hurtubise at the plate, so we'll see if they play small ball with Hurtubise, try to get a couple guys in scoring position with the top of the order coming up, or if they'll let Hurtubise just swing the bat.
Corners are all the way in, but an opportunity to maybe get a couple guys in scoring position. Hurtubise will keep the bat on the shoulders once again. A fastball that'll miss down in the dirt. So it's a 1-0 count here. After bunting his first couple of times, you get the feeling Hurtubise might be ready to swing away. He had a 2-hit game during his second outing with the Mariners. So definitely has the capabilities, and with the infield playing in, he's got a lot of real estate in between second and third. So he will swing at a breaking ball. Completely fooled there. Not a good pitch by Seth Lonsway for strike one.
Mariners sitting at 7-10 on the season, 5 games back of first in the East, currently held by Orleans.
And of course, the glaring number right now is still 0-5 against East Coast or Eastern teams. 1-1 pitch. That'll miss inside to Hurtubise.
And actually, with the loss last night, they actually fell to 0-6 now. With a couple of losses to Orleans and a couple to Chatham, they're trying not to make it to Brewster.
Yep, they've lost 1 game to each of these teams. 2 to Orleans, and trying to avoid making it 2 to Brewster here. Swinging and missing at a fastball high is Jacob Hurtubise. Hasn't been an overwhelmingly positive offensive season for Jacob Hurtubise. Hitting under 200 this season, but that 2-hit game really helping out his average. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. That's going to be fouled away, so Hurtubise will live to fight another pitch.
Yeah, and with him swinging away, it would be huge if he can find a way to get on base. Doesn't necessarily have to score a run. Even if he just walks, load the bases for Chris Galland, a guy who's hit pretty well for average this year.
Well, in addition to having the Army stolen base record, he also set the record for walks that season. 69 walks. So watch this one bounce in the dirt. Count is full here. So, you know, that's kind of been his thing all through his career. One of the only guys I've ever seen through both his freshman, sophomore, and junior seasons had more walks than strikeouts. 69 walks to 45 strikeouts during his junior campaign. 50 walks to 42 strikeouts during his sophomore year. So far, he's struck out 3 times and has yet to walk as a Harwich Mariner. Full count payoff pitch. That one's going to be taken into left center field. Coming in to make the play and able to glove it out there in center is Brett Auerbach, and that's out number 2. Runners will stay right where they're at.
Boy, from our angle, things were looking kind of scary with both those guys closing in on the baseball, Wilson and Auerbach, but able to make the catch as Auerbach, and thankfully a collision is avoided.
So it looks like we're going to have a very quick meeting at the mound. As almost sprinting out there was Jamie Schutchick. Not sure what that's about, but he will head back to the dugout, and he barely even gave Christian Molfetta a chance to get out there from behind his crouch as a catch behind the catcher's dish. So whatever that was all about, it's over quickly, and Chris Gallen will step in for a 4th time today.
Yep, just a quick word and see if that helps him get past Gallen, retire him, and get out of the jam with 2 runners on and 2 away.
Gallen was hit by a pitch in this 3rd, came around to score. Aside from that, a strikeout and a ground out. First pitch he sees is in the dirt. Another good block by Malfetta, who's been very busy behind home plate with all these pitches down. So, Seth Lonsway will go back to work here, looking for one more out to close out the inning. Chris Galland represents the tying run at the plate. The 1-0 pitch. This is low, and the count is 2-0 here.
And the Whitecaps trying to get back to 500 at home with a win today. They're 3-4-1 here at Stony Brook Field.
Well, and more importantly, these teams are separated by 3 points in the standings. So this is a huge swing game and a huge swing series for both, as Gallen's going to hit this one high in the air. Settling under it is Ryan Bliss, and he will make the catch out there on the outfield grass for out number 3. Mariners able to get a few more runners on, but still can't find a way to make anything out of it. The Brewster Whitecaps will be back up to bat as we head to the home half of the 6th. Whitecaps 7, Mariners 4. You're listening to Harwich Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. As the sun begins to set here at Stony Brook Field, Tommy Vale comes back out for another inning of work here, as he will come in and he will be greeted, of course, by 8-9-1. It'll be Christian Malfetta, Kurt Wilson, and then back to Ryan Bliss. And Colin, it seems like Harwich's offense has come to play today, but they have just given up runs in bunches, and that's part of the reason why they trail 7-4.
Yep, I mean, it's the difference in this game has really been the ability to get extra base hits for Brewster. I mean, you look at Tyler Gentry with 4 RBIs and a pair of those extra base hits, and then, of course, Auerbach with the home run. So being able to generate power has just been a huge difference maker for Brewster this season, and they haven't really slowed down this evening against Harwich.
So it'll be Christian Malfetta coming in here,
Now batting. The catcher.
hitting in the 8-hole today.
Number 17.
He's 0 for 1, fly out back in the 1st inning. A walk, and then came around on a pass ball and came in to score back in the 4th. This will be his first at bat against Tommy Vale, and he will send that one off to the right side. Chasing it is Chris Lanzilli, reaching back up over the top, and he's unable to make the grab out there in foul territory. So that'll be a lot of work for a strike.
Now, what was crazy about that one is Lanzilli, that's a tough ball to judge fading that way. He overran it just a bit. But that ball hit his glove and almost ended up back in fair territory. It was crazy. That ball glancing off his glove. Luckily, luckily for him, it dropped foul, and so now Malfetta has to go back and try to get on base for the 2nd time in this one.
So it'll be an 0-1 count here on Christian Malfetta. Still looking for his first hit of the day, and here it comes the pitch. That'll bounce off the chest of Rothenberg. And how about that? Rothenberg didn't even go to his glove there. He just squared it up and took it in the chest plate. Not even an effort to utilize the leather, but either way, the count is 1-1 here.
Still a little early to be talking about saves, but maybe we could see a 3-out one, or a 3-inning one here today. But 4 saves on the season for Brewster as that pitch misses in the dirt. And it looks like Carson Coleman's just been the designated closer out of the University of Kentucky with 2 saves on the year. So don't be surprised if we see him warming in the next couple of innings.
The Whitecaps come into this game at 8-8-1. The Mariners come in at 7-10 as the 2-1 pitch is down in the dirt. And it's for as much as I hate ties, you get the feeling a tie may have been preferable to one of those losses that Harwich took earlier this season, because you get a point out of a tie. Of course, this works kind of like soccer. 2 points for a win, 1 point for a tie, and no points for a loss. So the Mariners currently with 14 points as this is fouled away back to the screen. The count is full here. They come in at 14 points. Brewster comes in at 17, so they're within striking distance, but this is a very big swing series. Worst case scenario, you have to get a split here with the Whitecaps.
Still plenty of time in this ball game, though, if the Mariners can mount some offense in the final 3 innings. We know how much they've struggled doing that lately, but this has been a weird game. Maybe they'll be able to do it now.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Down on strikes goes Christian Malfetta, and that'll be strikeout number 3 here for Tommy Vale.
Yep, a nice little bounce back from Vale after
The left fielder from
starting out
Texas,
strong in the 5th.
number 11,
Then it was a walk and a home run,
Wilson.
2 runs allowed, but now it's back-to-back Ks dating back to the last inning. Let's see if he can continue that streak against Kurt Wilson.
He's only gotten 1 out in the field so far, as this one swung on and missed. Aside from that, 3 strikeouts. He's given up a walk and a home run. So has yet to allow a traditional base hit. But here he's got Kurt Wilson in an 0-1 bind. Here comes the pitch, and that'll miss high to even the count at 1-1.
Got a right-hander warming the pen for the Whitecaps, so you have to wonder if Longsway's evening is done. He would be in position to pick up the win if his team can hold on to this 3-run lead.
Here comes the 1-1. Swing and a miss at another fastball high. And it's a 1-2 count here. So Vale may be in line for a 4th strikeout here. Kurt Wilson's already struck out once. Aside from that, an RBI double that came back in the 4th. There's the off speed that we've seen him going to, and that'll even the count at 2-2 as that one just misses inside. And I'm not 100% sure what that pitch is. You mentioned that 12-6 movement that it seems to have, and be interesting to talk with Tommy Vale and see what he's throwing as he comes home with it again. This one's going to be skied into the Bermuda Triangle, but settling under it and making the catch halfway into center field is Dylan Noisy for out number 2.
And it definitely helped Noisy out to be a guy who plays the outfield as well, able to communicate with the guys behind him in left and center, let him know that I got this ball despite backpedaling, and he had the confidence to go back and grab that ball and call his teammates off.
You want to talk about depth at a certain position. The Harwich Mariners currently have 7 outfielders listed on the roster, as this one is hit high in the air. That'll be fouled away back behind the screen. You got Daniel Cabrera, Mike Ludwig, Chris Lanzilli, Joey Weimer, Max Marchot, Jacob Hurtubise, and Chris Gallant. All of which have been performing offensively for this team so far this year. So a lot of depth there, as this one is going to be taken by Ryan Bliss into right field. Settling under it is Mike Ludwig, and he'll glove it for out number 3. So the inning is over, 3 up, 3 down. We go to the 7th. Harwich still desperately needing some runs. They trail it 4-7 when we come back. You're listening to Harwich Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. Here at Stony Brook Field, Tyler Henry, Colin Casey as we head to the 7th inning. And like to remind you that today's game is brought to you by Milton Cat. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
So as we head to inning number 7, the Mariners once again trailing, trying to avoid 4 consecutive losses. And that would be 4 consecutive losses, well, against Eastern opponents. All these games being Division Ones. So it'll be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up for Harwich: Mike Ludwig, Chamber, and Tyler Keenan. Ludwig is 0 for 1, just one official at bat with a strikeout back in the first, but he's also walked and gotten a sac fly, and he tries bunting. Ball deflects off of his bat and right off the umpire's chest protector, 0-1.
Yeah, but Harwich may very well be in line for a 4-game winning streak coming up after that, as they will head and play 4 consecutive games against Western opponents. They fared extremely well against this season. A 7-4 record against the West, and they'll have Bourne on Friday on the road, then a doubleheader with Wareham at home on Saturday, and they'll close it out with a road trip to Falmouth on Sunday.
0-1 is in the dirt and goes all the way up into the protective netting.
And you want to talk about putting some mileage on the team bus. Back-to-back road trips to Falmouth and Bourne. Going to be a long weekend.
Big swing and a miss for strike 2, and sure, we're going to be dealing with all sorts of 4th of July traffic getting off the Cape.
Yep, things starting to really pick up out here in terms of the number of people out here vacationing. Part of the reason that the attendance is so good here at this game.
1-2 misses low to make it 2-2. And if anyone out there is just kind of listening to this broadcast and in the Cape area and hasn't really experienced Cape Cod baseball this summer, I really urge you to come out there. It is just a phenomenal experience for everyone, especially families, as the pitch misses just outside to work the count full.
Yep, a game tomorrow at White House Field. That'll be between these two, a rubber match of the 2-game series, regardless of how this one shakes out. And that'll be slated for a 6:30 first pitch.
3-2, it's a ground ball to second. Bliss throwing on the run, a nice play, and Ludwig is retired for out number 1 to begin the seventh, excuse me.
The defensive ability out there of Ryan Bliss has been on full display today. He's already had to make a couple of really tough plays, and that one was no easy play either, as he had to come all the way to his right, make the pickup, and then turn and fire to get the out.
So Joey Weimer digs in. He is 0 for 2, but has reached base twice, once via a hit by pitch, and in the 5th he reached on a fielder's choice. Pitch from Longsway, who's in his 3rd inning of work, is in there for a called strike. Longsway actually came in to get the final out of the 5th inning. So this is the 3rd inning he's appeared in, but it would be 2 2/3 if he's able to finish this one out, as that pitch misses 1-1. Pitch to Weimer, misses inside, and you know, Tyler Weimer's been plunked once in this one. I'm sure he's not looking forward to getting hit once again.
Yeah, I mean, the theory is always wear it, but not always as easy to say once you get drilled by a fastball like Weimer did.
Weimer sends this ball straight up in the air, 3rd base side, and it's going to fall as bit of a miscommunication once again. This one by Molfetta in Castanon. Ball bounces right in front of the Brewster dugout, and it'll be a 2-2 count.
Yeah, it would have been a tough play as Castanon kind of coming in, had to try to make the catch around waist level, but unable to glove it, as you mentioned. It'll be a 2-2 count.
So Weimer makes his way back to the batter's box. 4 runs on 3 hits, 2 errors committed by the Mariners thus far. Those hits belonging to Christian Fedko, Dylan Noisy, and Mike Rothenberg. 5, 6, and 7 hitters getting the job done. They've also been responsible for 2 of the 4 runs. Long look in by Longsway and the 2-2. Breaking ball in there, strike 3 call. They caught the inside corner, and Weimer shaking his head as he heads back to the dugout for out number 2.
So that'll bring Tyler Keenan up to the dish, trying to still get his first hit. He's reached on 2 different walks today and also flew out to center field back in the 4th.
That was Keenan who put the Mariners on the board in the top half of the 2nd, coming around to score from first on a ball in the gap by Mike Rothenberg. First pitch that Keenan sees just misses. Longsway works relatively quickly for a relief pitcher, as that one misses down 2-0, especially as a relief pitcher who works from the windup.
Yep, not something you see a ton of out here in the Cape League, but certainly working for him, and it's able to keep his pace up.
2-0 is hit in the air out towards right field. That ball is deep back at the wall, but reaching up just in front of the wall is Tyler Gentry, and that will retire the side. So despite a well hit ball by Keenan. It's a 1-2-3 inning for the Mariners as they go down in order after 6.5 innings. Mariners trailing Brewster Whitecaps on the road 7-4. You're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. It's stretch time from Stony Brook Field, and the Mariners looking to try to get some offense as they trail 7-4 to the Brewster Whitecaps. And got another pitching change to tell you about, as making just his second appearance with the Mariners this year is UNC's Caden O'Brien.
Yeah, and this will be his first official appearance. This is the first time he came on to pitch. It was during a game at YD that ended up getting rained out, and that one didn't get through enough that we were able to conclude it. So those numbers were all taken away, but in case you're wondering how he fared, we can take a look back in the old books and see how that game went against YD. He gave up a run on the first guy on the game, or first man of the game, in Noah Campbell was hit by a pitch, eventually came around to score. Aside from that, had a strikeout, gave up a couple more hits, one of the infield variety, one of the outfield, and a fielder's choice. So all that's kind of meaningless ultimately. This will be his first official start, and we'll see what he can do as he comes in here looking to hold 3-run deficit.
So it's been almost 2 weeks since that dress rehearsal, and O'Brien will be greeted by the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Gage Workman leading things off, the shortstop from Arizona State.
Yep, and looking for his first hit today. He reached on an error and came around to score back in the first inning. Aside from that, 0 for 2. A fly out and a ground out.
Workman has hit very well for average at Arizona State. Those average numbers haven't really translated during the summer. He hit 163 last year with Brewster. The first pitch from O'Brien misses outside, and so far this season just hitting 241 coming into today.
I mean, it seems like all the guys that hit really, really, really well during the regular season come into these summer leagues, and sometimes they have trouble.
1-0 misses outside. Workman in the other game against Harwich, he was 0 for 2, but he walked twice and came around to score. And he has scored in this game as well after reaching on an error back in the first. That pitch is in there for a strike. It's 2-1. 2-1 from O'Brien is hit well out towards left field, but right at the left fielder, Chris Gallum, had to move about 4 steps to his left. He makes the catch with one hand for out number 1.
Yep, so that'll bring up a tall task here, facing off against Brett Auerbach, who was struck out by Tommy Vale in the 5th. But aside from that, 2 for 2 with a base hit and a home run, a solo shot back in the 3rd inning. He has been a tough out today for Mariners pitching.
The Mariners going with all lefties so far in this game. And they have a ton of them out in the pen. They have no shortage of them. And the first pitch from O'Brien to Auerbach's in there for a strike.
Yep, looking at right-handed arms out of the bullpen. You've got Joe Boyle, Connor McCullough, who got a start the other day. This one's a check swing in there for a strike, and also Antonio Menendez and Will Heflin. But other than that, every single arm out of the pen this year has come via a lefty.
So it's actually an 0-2 count right now to Auerbach. And the pitch from O'Brien is a 58-foot breaking pitch that ends up 2 feet short of the plate.
Yeah, that one had a lot of movement on it, but just unable to locate. And of course, Caden O'Brien working on a few new pitches here in his 2019 summer campaign. A fastball and a changeup already established, and trying to work on developing a curveball and a cutter.
1-2 is hit hard on the ground to short. Able to make the play and make a strong throw over to first is Dylan Noisy, and there are 2 down.
Yep, Noisy continues to show his defensive prowess over there at shortstop in place of Hal Hughes today. So it's another good play for him. And tell you what, Caden O'Brien looks a lot more comfortable out here in this outing than he did starting that game off against the Whitey Red Sox earlier this year.
So here's a guy who's had a quiet game compared to what he did the last time these two teams played, and that is TJ Collette, who is 0 for 3 with a line out and a couple ground outs. O'Brien working from the windup. First pitch he throws is an off-speed missing high.
Yeah, Collette the only guy to not reach base today. So you mentioned he is 0 for 3. Everybody else has reached base, and everybody else except for Eric Fago and Kurt Wilson have come across the plate to score a run today.
Collette hits this ball out towards center, but barely having to move is Jacob Hurtubise, and he makes a catch, and that retires the side. So we're through 7 from Stony Brook Field. It is Brewster 7, Harwich 4. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Harwich Mariners baseball on this beautiful, and a new pitcher set to go for the Whitecaps, and it's going to be the right-hander out of Central Florida, William McKay.
Yep, so McKay coming in here, and take a look at what he's done so far this season. He's appeared in 5 games, a 2-0 record as a reliever, a save, and through 7 2/3 of innings pitched, he's given up 4 runs, 2 of which have been earned, 5 hits, and 7 strikeouts to only 2 walks.
So a good outing out of the pen from Seth Longsway. The Ohio State Buckeye goes 2 1/3. Didn't give up any runs or hits. He did put on a few guys, including 2 walks, but he was also able to pick up a strikeout in his time in the game.
And of course, McKay pitching out of almost a submarine slot with the arm, so that'll be interesting for the Harwich Mariners guys to try to focus on hitting. They've seen a number of sidearm guys, including closer who came in yesterday and shut things down in Dawson Merriman.
So the 21-year-old out of Plant City, Florida, looking to get this game to the 9th, and we'll see if he is given the opportunity to record a 2-out save. He does have 1 on the season, as 3 different guys with 4 saves for the Whitecaps collectively. Christian Fedko will lead things off for the Harwich Mariners. He is 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored. He's also flown out and popped out. Second baseman out of UConn taps his bat against the plate and is ready to go to begin the 8th. Submarine delivery from McKay misses outside to begin the top half of inning number 8 for ball 1. Infield playing relatively deep on Fedko, so no threat of a bunt right now, and he swings away and is unable to make contact 1-1.
Yep, Fedko trying to give some late life here to the Mariners as they've really struggled here in the latter part of this one. And an opportunity here with nobody out to give them a base runner with Dylan Noisy standing on deck.
There's a chopper foul over towards the Brewster dugout. McKay did not pitch due to a transfer this past spring. He played in 2018 for Polk State College. Went 6-2 with a 2.22 ERA and 4 saves in 65 innings. 1-2 now to Fedko. And McKay from the stretch misses up and away, 2-2.
And he's bounced all over the place because the year before he was actually with the University of Florida. So he was a Gator, but redshirted that year, then moved to Polk State College where he was allowed to pitch for the entire season. And then, as you mentioned, unable to throw any in the 2019 year with Central Florida.
2-2 is hit in the air out towards right field. And out there to make the catch is Tyler Gentry, and one man is gone to lead off the top of the 8th.
Yep, that'll bring Dylan Noisy up in a pretty big spot here. Mariners trailing by 3 and down now to their final 5 outs. trying to avoid going on what would be now a 5-game losing streak. And, you know, they've never been more, you know, coming into yesterday, they had never been more than 2 games under 500. They had never been more than 1 game above 500. But now sitting 3 games below, 7-10, currently last in the East.
And the first pitch to Noisy is in for a called strike. And another interesting thing about Billy McKay, he actually threw 2 no-hitters during his junior year of high school. So definitely a guy who dominated his region at the high school level. The 0-1 is an off-speed missing outside.
Yeah, and really slow on that pitch. Took him about probably 15 miles an hour off of it compared to the fastball. So McKay's got some nasty off-speed stuff to work with here as Dylan Noisy will try for his second hit of the day. A strikeout and a fly out aside from that.
And a foul tip the backstop to put Noisy behind the 8 ball, 1-2. Noisy, one of 4 different Mariners to score. And it was the 4, 5, and 6 hitters who have scored 3 of the 4. Galland as well from the leadoff spot. He scored back in the 3rd. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the pitch. And it's a high pop-up on the right side of the infield. And camped under it and making the catch is Eric Fago, 2 away.
So with 2 away, Mike Rothenberg will step back in. He's already been very helpful to the cause today. Drove in a run on a double back in the 2nd inning. Grounded out in the 4th and then walked back in the 6th.
Rothenberg finding some life at the plate after going to Omaha for a bit for the home run derby. Looking to try to spark a rally with 2 down in the 8th. And Billy McKay's first pitch is in there for a strike. Rothenberg, a catcher out of Duke. Program that had themselves pretty successful season, making some noise in the college tournament.
And not a team that was really expected to do a whole lot coming into 2019, but one that certainly overperformed and got the job done when it mattered.
You know, 1 as Rothenberg able to get just enough of it to foul it off, and he's behind 0-2. And McKay not really wasting any time attacking these Mariners hitters, and it seems like both guys that have come out of the pen, both Longsway and McKay, have really pitched with a lot of confidence since relieving the starter Tringali.
Well, and why not? I mean,
there's a swing and a drive out towards left center and over to make the catch, and ball kind of tailing on him at the last second is Auerbach, and that will end the top half of the 8th inning. So we head to the bottom of the 8th. It is Brewster 7, Harwich 4. Once again, you are listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. Caden O'Brien will head out for his 2nd inning of work, and he's looking to keep the deficit at 3 as we head to the home half of the 8th. And Sweet Caroline playing out here at Stony Brook Field. And Tyler, I think this has been one of the most interesting games in terms of perspective as broadcasters, because it seems like we're just right in here with the fans.
yeah, no, this is fantastic. I mean, we've got fans all around us, and we talked about it too. It's a much more intimate feel here at Brewster because you only have, I mean, looking back, you've got 4 rows of bleachers all the way up, all the way around. So everybody is packed in tight. It was a sellout crowd at the beginning here, and pretty good attendance here at Brewster Whitecaps' Stony Brook Field. Their team is leading it, and they've been treated to a pretty good game today.
Yeah, I'd say still about 75% of the original crowd sticking around to watch the conclusion of this game. And so the bottom of the 8th set Bottom of the 8th set to begin. It's going to be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters. Marcus Castanon leading things off. He swings the first pitch, fouls it off to the right towards the school. Castanon with just one official at-bat. That was a ground out to second in the 3rd. That one's in the dirt, 1-1, as he also hit a sac fly back in the 1st to bring home the first run of the ball game. And then he walked and scored in the 5th. As the hottest hitter in the lineup sitting on deck right now in Tyler Gentry. The 1-1 misses way high.
So another inning here out of Caden O'Brien, out of the University of North Carolina. Spent last summer with the Holly Springs Salamanders out in the Coastal Plains League, and he has a pretty good record of clutch pitching as well. So this pitch will miss high and away. He sent his team to the College World Series with a victory over Stetson back in 2018, and then in the same year got a big-time victory over an Oregon State team that would eventually go on to eliminate North Carolina from the playoffs and win it all.
There's a line drive into left field for a base hit. So the leadoff man on to begin the home half of inning number 8 as Castanon's aboard with a single.
Yep, Brewster apparently not done yet. They're not content with what they have, and they're looking for a few more runs here.
Next up, the right fielder.
So here it is once again with a man on base is
Number 28,
Tyler Gentry, who is 2 for 3 with a 2-run triple and a 2-run home run. And in between those, he grounded out to short.
And he's done it off both of the pitchers into the game today. This one will miss high, and this will be the first time he sees Caden O'Brien. So he hit the triple off his walk, the home run off of Vail. Now looking to drive another run here against the lefty from North Carolina.
1-0 misses outside, and Tyler, this could be another case where the Mariners lose a game in which they committed less errors than their opponent. Yesterday, it was Orleans who committed 3 errors compared to Harwich's 2, and right now it's like Groundhog Day, same thing. 2-0 is just a bit high.
Yeah, that was Chatham, and
Chatham,
they gave up
right,
fewer
yep.
runs. Orleans a few days ago, but we've seen games where Harwich has given up less runs and lost. Or given up fewer errors and lost. We've also seen games where they've had more hits and still came away unvictorious.
There's a strike from O'Brien to make it 3-1. It looked like Gentry had the take sign. Got a pinch hitter, it looks like, in the on-deck circle. We'll have to see. It looks like Luke Berryhill as the 3-1 is ripped down the line to make it a full count. Yeah, it is Berryhill out of South Carolina, who's in a small sample size had a very successful season so far. But right now the batter is Gentry, and he's looking to make it 3 hits and perhaps 3 extra base hits. He's got a full count. O'Brien the pitcher. Castanon the man on first. Runner going, and a swing and a foul ball off to the right as Castanon had quite the jump over at first base.
Yep, so another hit and run is on there as with 2 strikes. He will take off. The count is full. And we'll see what Tyler Gentry has here, but yeah, he has been just absolutely killing this Harwich team today. 4 RBIs for him in this one through just 3 at-bats.
Full count pitch once again. The runner goes, swing and a miss, strike 3, the throw down, and he's out. Oh my goodness, it looked like the tag was way late, but it's going to be a strike him out, throw him out double play for Rothenberg. And Tyler, I really can't believe that one. Maybe he popped up off the bag on the slide, but it looked like the tag was unbelievably late.
It was a weird play altogether because he hesitated on his way down to second, and that was what allowed Winkle to come up and make the throw. But yeah, I mean, we're the broadcast for the Harwich Mariners, and even you and I are both looking at that. I think the tag was late, so clearly he may have came off the bag or something like that. But that'll be a strike him out, throw him out. No contest by Coach Schuchik, and they'll be content to have no runners on base here with a 3-run lead.
So Luke Berryhill, the pinch hitter. Caden O'Brien's first pitch to him misses inside. Berryhill hitting .385 in just 13 at-bats this season. No RBIs, but he does have a pair of doubles. And he's ahead in the count now, 2-0.
Yep, coming in for Eric Fago, who walked once. Other than that, 0 for 2, a strikeout and a lineout, so no hits for him today.
Barry Hill lays off a pitch, and he's ahead now 3-0. A lot of catchers on this roster. There's 5 guys who are listed as catchers, so definitely depth at that position is get me over fastball in there to make it 3-1.
Yep, and of course the Mariners only running with 2 as they had to cut both Matt Oldham and Jackson Greer, who went to the YD Red Sox and now is with the Bourne Braves. This one's hit off the screen, and for some reason that seems to be the pipeline. Guys that get cut from the YD Red Sox go to the Bourne Braves. That's the 3rd one this season that we've seen do that. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but clearly a pipeline somewhere as this is fouled away. And the count is full here for O'Brien on Luke Berryhill.
It's definitely great, though, to see guys get other opportunities when things don't work out for them. Getting a chance to try to shine with another team and maybe stick out the rest of the season. Perhaps maybe build a relationship for future seasons. As the payoff pitch misses high to Berryhill, and he draws a 2-out walk. So Christian Molfetta with 2 away, looking to try to add some insurance for Brewster in the bottom half of the 8th.
Give you a little update around the league. YD is currently up on Hyannis by a score of 5-0. Katuitt is trailing the Falmouth Commodores 3-1. At last check, Orleans up 1-0 on Chatham. That's the late game, and then Wareham out to a big-time 5-1 lead on the Bourne Braves.
So the Stamford catcher takes the first pitch in there for a strike. And Tyler, one thing I noticed around the league is just how much offense we're seeing out of catchers, and maybe that's kind of the trend coming in the right direction for the MLB. Maybe the stigma of the catcher being a more defensive position kind of being shook loose as of late, as showing bunt and taking the pitch to fall behind 0-2 is Molfetta.
Well, I mean, you got to think catchers are typically not known for their speed, so you might as well bulk up and learn to hit the ball deep into the park, and that's what a lot of guys have done at all levels of baseball. But yeah, the purely defensive catcher who just can't hit, kind of being phased out a little bit, similar to the big defensive center in basketball. If you can't score points, you're not very valuable to a team anymore.
And time has been granted for the Cardinal, as it's been 96 players sent to the majors for Stanford University. The 0-2 is hit on the ground. A lot of topspin on to third. Keenan's long throw is just in time, and that will retire the side. So, despite a 2-out walk, Caden O'Brien able to work out of the inning, his second scoreless inning. And so we head to the top half of the final frame. Mariners need 3 to tie and 4 to take the lead. Once again, you're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. Top of the 9th from Stony Brook Field. The Mariners trying to keep their hopes alive by putting up at least 3 runs. They trail 7-4 to the Brewster Whitecaps, and coming in to try to get the save for the Whitecaps is University of Maryland's Sean Fisher.
Yep, Fisher so far this year is coming to 5 games. He's got a save, and through 6 2/3 has 5 hits given up, 3 runs, 1 home run, and 4 strikeouts to only the lone walk.
William McKay getting credit for a hold, able to keep it at a 3-run game, just pitching that scoreless 8th. So definitely an impressive game thus far from the Brewster bullpen, who has not given up a hit yet in the game. All 3 hits charged to Cam Tringali. So Chris Lanzilli is slated to lead things off, and in the on-deck circle right now, scheduled to bat after him as of right now is Max Marshak, so could see a pinch hitter for Jacob Hurtubise. And it makes sense, Tyler, with Marshak being a natural center fielder.
Yep, an easy defensive adjustment, but more than that, they get the better bat in the lineup, so it'll be Lanzilli to lead things off, and then Max Marshak coming in after him, trying to get things started.
The first baseman from Wake Forest.
So Chris Lanzilli stepping in,
Chris
0 for 2, as he popped out, reached on an error that ended up tying the game, and he swings the first pitch and sends this ball high and deep out towards right center, and back just in front of the wall to make the catch is Auerbach, and quickly one pitch, one away, but allowed out number 1 to begin the 9th.
It looked like Brett Auerbach was just running a little lap around the outfield as he kind of made his way all the way around the warning track, and once again the ball hit to the deepest part of the park, unable to get out.
It's been a busy day for Auerbach. He's had 5 putouts in this game. A lot of balls hit his way, so Max Marshak will pinch hit for Jacob Hurtubise. Hurtubise was 0 for 3 coming into this point. Sean Fisher 2 outs away from recording a save. That would be his 2nd of the season. Long look in, and he starts his windup. First pitch misses. No, it's actually on the inside corner to Marshak. Max Marshak from Texas Tech, and he bloops the pitch to the pitcher. The throw is dropped. Marshak able to leg it out. We'll see if they give him an infield hit as he was busting it down the line. Just a weird play where the ball kind of just kind of fluttered to the ground just past the home plate area, and Fisher just throws a pretty good throw over to first, but unable to hang on to it was the first baseman, and I think it was a defensive substitution, so it wasn't Foggo over at first trying to make that play.
Yeah, altogether that was a strange sequence, but Harwich will take it. They've got a runner on base here with 1 out, and the top of the order coming up as Chris Galland will dig in here for a 5th at bat.
So it was Tyler Hardman unable to come up with it. It's going to be an infield single, though, and the first pitch to Galland's on the inside corner, so some speed on the base pass as not Hurtubise. Marshak is taking a solid lead over at first. Fisher, the lefty, delivering home, and that's in there for strike 2.
And we've already seen what Marshak can do out there on the base path, so we'll see whether or not they choose to use him aggressively. It's no 2 count here on Chris Galland. With one away, you want to move somebody up into scoring position one way or another. Marshak with a pretty tight lead.
Runner going, and it's chopper up the middle. That'll take away the double play ball. The throw is a high one over at short, but able to keep his foot on the bag. This time is Tyler Hardman, the first baseman. Now the Mariners are down to their final out.
The right fielder from Wake Forest.
So it's all down to
Number 13,
Mike Ludwig,
Michael Ludwig.
who is 0 for 2 on the day with an RBI on the sac fly back in the 3rd. He's also walked. And so he'll have a runner on second with 2 away. He's looking to just kind of keep things going as Daniel Cabrera now steps into the on-deck circle, so we could see another pinch hitter, and he represents the tying run right now. Fisher. Long look in, a deep sigh. And now he comes to the belt. First pitch is hit on the ground towards the left side. It's through for a base hit. Trying to score is Marshak. Here comes the throw all the way in. He's safe. And all of a sudden, it's a 2-run game on the RBI single by Mike Ludwig.
And who's coming to the plate? It's none other than Joey Weimer, who it seems like, not Joey Weimer, pinch hitter actually, coming in here. So Weimer's spot's going to be replaced.
Now batting.
That'll be Daniel Cabrera coming in.
Interesting decision with the lefty on the mound to go to a lefty pinch hitter, but Cabrera definitely a power threat. He did hit his only home run against Hyannis
Hitter for Harwich.
just a little under 2 weeks ago.
From Louisiana State, Daniel Cabrera.
So the LSU Tiger represents the tying run. Just needs to get on to keep this game alive and maybe at the very least bring Tyler Keenan up with a chance to do some damage. Fisher, his first pitch, and it is a big swing and a miss by Cabrera for strike 1.
So an interesting move here, pulling one of the better bats in the lineup all season long and a right-handed hitter against the left-handed pitcher. Daniel Cabrera now hitting in a very big spot.
Fisher's 0-1. A breaking ball. That one's in there for strike 2, and the Mariners are down to their final out. That run by Marshak earlier in the inning, the only earned run so far for the Mariners. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 down in the top of the ninth, with a runner on first, and the tying run at the plate in Daniel Cabrera. Sean Fisher with a long look in. He comes to the belt. Here's the 0-2. And that ball missing just low and outside, and Fisher might have thought he had the game won right there. But Cabrera remains alive with a 1-2 count. Once again, he's pinch hitting for Joey Weimer, who up to this point was 0 for 3. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the pitch, and a chopper off of Cabrera's leg, and they'll do it again.
Weimer reached base twice, though. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th and was hit by a pitch back in the 3rd before being picked off. So if it comes to it, Tyler Keenan does stand in on deck. Representing the tying run right now, as you mentioned, is Daniel Cabrera, and with a 1-2 count, he'll try to keep this alive.
Mike Ludwig, the runner on first. He has 2 RBIs today. Cabrera at the plate. Here's the 1-2. That pitch misses outside, and a good job keeping the ball in front of him by the catcher Molfetta. So it's a 2-2 count. Crowd anxiously waiting the pitch from Fisher. Here it is. Breaking ball misses in the dirt, and that makes it a full count. And boy, is that big, because it gives the runner at first, Ludwig, a chance to get a head start.
Daniel Cabrera has been very patient through this at bat. We'll see whether or not that remains consistent here. 4 walks for him already this season.
The payoff pitch misses inside, ball 4, and Daniel Cabrera with a huge plate appearance, able to reach base, and now it's runners at first and second with 2 down, and the go-ahead run at the plate, and it's Tyler Keenan.
And how about the patience shown by Daniel Cabrera there? He goes behind in the count early. It would have been easy for him to offer it a couple of those pitches, some of which were pretty close, but he's able to leave the bat on the shoulder when it matters most. And now, as you mentioned, Tyler Keenan will come on. The tying run standing over there at first base.
No action in the bullpen for Brewster, so right now it's just all Fisher. Here's his first pitch to Keenan. Ball's dropped, but it is a called strike at the knees.
Keenan's put together a pretty impressive 2019 campaign so far, getting off to a pretty hot start. An RBI double and a home run for him in his second outing as a Mariner. He's never really looked back, including a 3 for 4 outing yesterday.
Fisher a long look at second, the 0-1. Breaking ball, that one missing just inside. Keenan so far today, 0 for 2 with 2 walks. 1 in the second, 1 in the 5th. He came around to score in the second. He's also flown out twice, so he's been able to get under the ball. Let's see if he can get a hold of one and maybe give the Mariners the lead with 1 swing of the bat. The 1-1 takes a big cut, and that ball is fouled straight back.
And the focus right now can't be on putting one over the wall. Just got to move the line here with 2 outs. Christian Fedko, arguably the team's best hitter all season long, standing on deck. But right now, Tyler Keenan will collect himself. He's fallen behind 1 and 2. Here to Sean Fisher.
Ludwig at second, Cabrera at first. 2 down, a 1-2 count to Keenan. Fisher trying to shut the door for Brewster. The pitch misses high and away, and it's 2-2.
So Keenan's got a little bit more patient here. It seems like the whole lineup has for the Harwich Mariners. Coming into this game, Keenan had 6 strikeouts to only 2 walks.
Long look in by Fisher. A look at second, the 2-2. Inside out swing, hit high in the air out towards left field. Coming in to make the catch and end the ball game is Kurt Wilson. So despite the drama in the top of the 9th, the Mariners able to put the tying run on base but are unable to bring it home, and they drop their fourth consecutive game in a loss to Brewster. The final score in this one, the Brewster Whitecaps with a victory 7-5 over the Harwich Mariners. We'll take a quick break and wrap things up. Once again, you have been listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. Back here one last time at Stony Brook Field. Once again, Colin Casey alongside Tyler Henry, and the Mariners just unable to mount what looked like an impressive comeback in the ninth. They were able to get a run across after trailing 7-4, but that is as close as they would get, Tyler. And just another frustrating loss for the Mariners in a game that they seemed to hit the ball pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, they were in this one again. You look at the numbers at the end of the day, and Harwich puts up 5 hits, but they leave 8 on base. And again, it's the guys that they left in crucial situations in the game that ultimately cost them again today. So they'll look to bounce back with Brewster tomorrow, but that's going to be a huge game because, again, you look at the Eastern standings, and Harwich currently sits at 14 points. With a win today, Brewster moves up to 19. You do not want to fall 7 points behind the second-to-last team in the West going into the final half of the season.
So the win goes to the Brewster Whitecaps. They improved to 9-8-1 on the season. They were able to put up 7 runs on 7 hits. They did commit 3 errors, only left 4 men on base. Harwich falls to 7-11, as they were 5 games back coming into this. We'll see how the rest of the schedule today shakes up. But they once again fall at 7-11. 5 runs on 5 hits, 2 errors for the Mariners. They left 8 men on base. And the win in this ball game goes to Seth Longsway, excuse me. Longsway improves to 1-0 on the season. So he went 2 1/3 without giving up a hit. Walked 2, struck out 1 coming out of the pen. The loss goes to Nick Swak, who falls to 0-2 on the season. Swak went 4 full, gave up 5 runs on 5 hits, just 4 of those 5 earned. Walked 2, struck out 1 in a losing effort for Harwich. And the save is the second of the season for Sean Fisher, who went in an inning giving up 2 hits. He did give up the lone earned run of the ball game for the Brewster Whitecaps. He also added a walk to that without striking out anybody. So once again, the Mariners' first win against an Eastern Division team will have to wait. They fall to 0-7 against the East this year, as they fall 7-5 in Brewster on this Wednesday evening of baseball. Once again, we'd like to thank everyone who made this broadcast possible. For our producer, Matt Lucy, alongside Tyler Henry, I'm Colin Casey. Thanks for tuning in for another edition of Harwich Mariners Baseball, and we will see you hopefully tomorrow when the Mariners head back home on the 4th of July and try to get revenge against Brewster. So long, everybody.